Chapter 167. Shui Jingji's Provocation has more than 40,000 ratings and comments on QQ Music. Clicking on the comment area of the album, attentive people can find that the comments inside are obviously polarized. More than half of them are positive comments, and many of them are top praise, such as, "So good to listen to," "Wonderful album," "Support Jingji Appa," and so on are innumerable, and there is a lot of repetition of the same content. These comments are densely arranged up and down, and the formation is very neat. It exudes a taste of false prosperity. Of course, there are also some good comments with detailed comments, but compared with the bad comments, it is undoubtedly much less. Low-score bad comments are more realistic and real than high-score positive comments. Many members who have bought the album don't have a high evaluation of Provocation. The general view is that the album is too Korean in style, and it gives them the feeling that it is the same, without too many surprises and highlights. Some people said that they regretted buying it. Although it was only 8 yuan, it was enough to buy a single Provocation. Some people also ridiculed that the songs in the album were like Korean plastic surgery. They were all poured out of the same mold, and several songs were similar to twins. Some people even clamored for a refund. In contrast, Lu Chen's "You Who Sat Next to Me" has about 40,000 comments, which is less than Provocation. But more than 90% of the comments in the album's comment area are positive, and most of the comments are meaningful, not the kind of simple reply that is fixed model. Some people like "You Who Sat Next to Me," some people like "Those Flowers," some people appreciate "Love in the Wind," and some people have listened to "The Brightest Star in the Night Sky" dozens of times, but they are not tired of it. A QQ Music member with the ID, Chen Xing, said in the comment, "I like Lu Chen's album, because it reminds me of my good school days, reminding me of my first love, my brother who slept on my upper bunk, those who liked me and the people I liked, and my youth that I can't go back to." Although I've heard most of the live versions, the complete album is still very different. The arrangement and accompaniment were done with great care, and the 8 yuan is really worth it. I hope to buy the CD record. Another ID called World Traveler wrote, "I've long seen Lu Chen singing in Singing China. At that time, there were several songs that really moved me. So, after knowing that he released an album, I bought and downloaded it as soon as possible. I wasn't disappointed. It felt really good. For this album, I want to say, Lu Chen, you are an extraordinary singer." There were many similar comments, and some people even talked about their youth. This kind of comment atmosphere is in sharp contrast to Provocation. At the same time, it also deeply stimulated someone. Bang! An expensive branded mouse slammed heavily on the desk. The plastic at the bottom was immediately torn apart, revealing the circuit board inside. It looked like it was about to die. Chui Xiuyin, who heard the noise in the room, hurried over, still holding the phone tightly in her hand. She looked at her brother sitting in front of the computer with great worry. She opened her mouth, but didn't know what to say. Originally, she and Chui Jingji were supposed to leave Huhai for Shaoqing today, but because of the album's sales, they were delayed. The subsequent itinerary and schedule arrangements had to be changed, and the consequences were very troublesome. It was just that Chui Jingji was in such a bad mood that Chui Xiuyin didn't even dare to persuade him. She knew her brother's character too well. He was used to having a smooth sailing. Once he encountered setbacks, he would be upset and irritable, and all kinds of bad temper would follow. Now, it's good that he only broke a mouse. Today is September 11th, and the total sales of Lu Chen's "You Who Sat Next to Me" album exceeded 150,000, and it was a foregone conclusion. There was even hope to achieve platinum record. The sales of Chui Jingji's Provocation directly plunged, barely exceeding 90,000. The gap was so big that it made people desperate. In just 3 short days, he felt as if he had fallen from heaven to hell. Even if this sales result was very good. After a while, Chui Jingji asked, "Sister, did the company call you again?" Chui Xiuyin sighed and said, "Yes, the company is very angry. They have stopped the promotion of the new album and will no longer buy the charts. They want you to go to Shaoqing tomorrow, otherwise, Also, Mom and Dad also called and asked about your situation. Cui Jingji stayed in the hotel for 2 days. He didn't give any notice or answer the phone. The company was furious. Although she used the excuse of being sick to fend them off, she couldn't hide it from others. Cui Jingji reached out and closed his laptop, rubbed his face hard, and said in a hoarse voice, "I see. Tomorrow, we will go to Shacheng. You can rearrange the itinerary for me." Good. Seeing that her brother had cheered up again, Cui Xiuyin was also very happy. It doesn't matter if you lose this time. You have plenty of opportunities to defeat that Lu Chen in the future. Cui Jingji nodded hard. But his mind was still full of the comments he had seen on the internet. The bad comments about himself and the good comments about Lu Chen were like sharp thorns, stabbing him to the point of going crazy. Lu Chen. Cui Jingji remembered the name firmly. He vowed that one day he would wash away today's humiliation. On September 12th, You Who Sat Next to Me sold more than 180,000 copies. On September 13th, it broke through 200,000 copies. On September 15th, 250,000 copies. In 7 days, the album created the best weekly sales record on QQ Music Network in half a year, and even surpassed the albums of many domestic first-class singers, becoming the best newcomer album sales in recent years. In contrast, Cui Jingji's Provocation was much inferior, with a total sales of 110,000 copies in 7 days, less than half of Lu Chen's. At this point, there were fewer voices about Lu Chen on the internet. The reason was very simple. It was because everyone knew that Lu Chen was an independent artist. He did not have a powerful entertainment agency behind him. It was impossible for him to buy 20,000 to 30,000 sales. It was completely different when he reached this level. Online sales of a singer's album were different from physical record sales. The sales in the first week often accounted for about 50% of the total sales. The weekly sales of 250,000 copies meant that You Who Sat Next to Me was likely to eventually break through the 500,000 mark. 500,000 copies meant the certification of platinum record, and it also meant a sales performance of 4 million. According to the 50% share, and deducting 10% tax, Lu Chen could get a full 1.6 million. How much did he invest in this album? It was estimated that it was only a few 100,000. All the songs were written by Lu Chen himself. It was simply a big profit. It was unknown how many people in the industry were jealous, and more people felt that it was inconceivable. Why did this album, which already had a live version and no large-scale publicity hype, sell so well? On the evening of September 15th, Chen Guodong, who was certified as lecturer in the Department of Music at Beijing Normal University, on Wave's blog, posted a long blog post titled The Silent Majority. As a university lecturer, Chen Guodong had little to do with the entertainment industry, but in the pop music world, his name was widely known. He was a famous music critic and contributed to a number of amateur music websites and magazines. In this long blog post, he focused on Lu Chen's album, which had been widely concerned in the industry. At the beginning of the blog post, Chen Guodong said that he attended the freshman welcome party at Normal University on the 10th. As a result, he heard 4 songs at the party, namely, You Who Sat Next to Me, The Brother Who Slept on My Upper Bunk, Those Flowers, and The Brightest Star in the Night Sky. These 4 songs were all from Lu Chen's You Who Sat Next to Me album, and all of them were welcomed by the students. The playing and singing of several boys even attracted warm applause and cheers from the audience. In contrast, a few popular dance and song programs received mediocre responses. This aroused Chen Guodong's deep thought. Why was Lu Chen's campus folk songs so popular with college students and sold so well on QQ Music? He analyzed that it should be that this album touched the feelings of the silent majority. The so-called silent majority was actually ordinary young people and ordinary pop music lovers. They lived around you and me. Some were on campus, and some were working hard in society. They liked listening to pop music, but they didn't go after stars very much. If they wanted to listen to songs, they would search for free downloads on the internet, and they would not easily express their opinions. This huge group was often ignored by entertainment agencies during publicity, because they were not like the fan group of stars, which could bring them rich profits. Therefore, the market trend of pop music was to cater to fan groups. The most popular European, American, Japanese, and South Korean styles were the best evidence. Entertainment companies and singers and stars were changing ways to meet the needs of these people. The decline of domestic music originality had a lot to do with this bias. But were the silent majority willing to passively accept it? The answer was obviously no. They, including some star fans, had long begun to get tired of imitating and plagiarizing the entertainment atmosphere of Europe, the United States, Japan, and South Korea. They didn't want to listen to the same fast songs, but they had no choice. Because the whole market was like this. However, the emergence of Lu Chen was like a fresh wind blowing into the pop music world. His original, campus folk song, work undoubtedly let people see the new hope of local originality. So, the energy that had been accumulated for a long time erupted. The most direct reaction was to drive up the sales of You Who Sat Next to Me. There must have been many people who usually listened to free songs, and they were willing to take out 8 yuan to support Lu Chen. Therefore, Lu Chen was able to defeat his opponent Shui Jingji with a crushing force. The latter was precisely the representative of Korean wave music. This was support, but also a silent struggle, the power of the silent majority. At the end of the blog post, Chen Guodong believed that the domestic pop music world should really start to reflect. Don't ignore the silent majority. Chapter 168. Chen Guodong does not have many fans in Wave's blog, only 200,000 plus, and can be regarded as a small V. But he is very famous in the pop music world. He is a contributor to many music websites and magazines, and has a wide range of contacts in the circle. Therefore, there are many star artists and industry celebrities who follow each other on his blog. As soon as the post, The Silent Majority, was released, it was forwarded a lot. Such as music superstars Tan Hong, Chen Feier, Flying Stone Records music director Lin Jijia, famous artist Zhang Zhirong, pop radio host Xu Ping and other big V have all given positive comments, forming a wider influence on the internet. By the next day, September 16th, the 3 words, Lu Chen, You Who Sat Next to Me, and The Silent Majority, were on the hot search list on the homepage of Wave's blog at the same time. There are also many bloggers posting short videos they shot at their respective colleges and universities' freshman welcoming parties, which are basically live videos of student performers playing and singing Lu Chen's album. A guitar, a handsome guy, a folk song. Most of these videos were shot with mobile phones, and the picture quality and sound quality were not good, but the atmosphere at the scene was great, which is enough to show the popularity of Lu Chen's original songs among the student community. People in the industry were shocked to find that campus folk song, a folk song category created by Lu Chen, has unknowingly gained a wide range of influence with the release of his debut album and has been recognized by countless young people. When Lu Chen used campus folk song for publicity, many people scoffed at it and even reprimanded it as an act of sensationalism. Now, it is entirely possible to leave a strong mark in the history of domestic pop music. Some entertainment record companies have keenly noticed this market and are planning to launch works in the same style. Lu Chen's Waves blog has increased by hundreds of thousands of fans. Also on September 16th, the sales of You Who Sat Next to Me on QQ Music Online exceeded 300,000. A lot of glasses fell to the ground. It should be known that the sales performance of a singer's album on the website is mainly concentrated in the first week, especially the sales in the first 3 days are the most important. Later, it will definitely go down all the way, and there will even be a sharp dive. The reason is very simple. Online piracy will be rampant with the hot sales of albums, appearing in post bars, forums and QQ groups for others to download for free, which can't be contained at all. Under such circumstances, even if it is a superstar's work, the downward trend is irreversible. You Who Sat Next to Me was released on QQ Music on the 8th. It has been 8 days since the 16th, which has already passed the golden sales period. Normally, the sales should be getting worse day by day and enter the later accumulation stage. But no one expected that the album would sell 50,000 copies on September 16, which was simply unbelievable and extremely envious. It was simply unbelievable. This miracle once again strongly proved Chen Guodong's assertion about the silent majority. Lu Chen have Lu Chen. By not as, Chen as. The success of You Who Sat Next to Me made Lu Chen's originally declining popularity explode again. Many entertainment agencies and advertisers have called or taken the initiative to approach Lu Chen's studio for cooperation. Performances, endorsements, buying songs. She was so busy that she didn't have time to rest all day long. He believed that his sister would be able to handle it. As for Lu Chen himself, of course, it was impossible for him to be idle. At 1:00 p.m. on September 17, he went to the Beijing television building to participate in the rehearsal of the National Day party of the satellite TV station. Beijing television basically has 4 big parties every year, namely, the Spring Festival Gala on the first day of the New Year, the New Year's Eve Gala on December 31, the Taiwan Celebration Gala on June 8, and the National Day Gala on October 1. Among them, the Spring Festival Gala and the New Year's Eve Gala have always been the highlight of the satellite TV station. Relatively speaking, the scale and investment of the Taiwan Celebration Gala and the National Day Gala are a notch lower, and the ratings have always been low. However, Beijing television is located in the capital and has a great influence. Even if it's the National Day Gala with low ratings, there are still countless actors and singers who want to stand on its stage, even if it's just to brush their faces. Lu Chen's opportunity to go on stage at the Beijing Television National Day Gala was originally won by him with the song Life on a String. After winning the championship of Singing China, it was even more logical, and no one could gossip. Otherwise, with his identity as an independent new artist and his contacts in the circle, there was basically no chance. Lu Chen still attached great importance to the National Day Gala, so he arrived at the satellite TV building in advance. With the invitation letter and identity card sent by the satellite TV station, Lu Chen passed the security check smoothly and came to the T1 studio of Beijing Television. This brand new studio, which was just opened 2 months ago, can accommodate 3,000 live audiences at the same time. The total area of the stage reaches 3,500 square meters, and the decoration is atmospheric and advanced. It can be called the best in the industry. Lu Chen has been here before, so he is familiar with the way. There are already many entertainers in the backstage of the studio. Lu Chen saw many familiar faces inside. They are all famous singers and stars in the circle. The lineup of this gala is undoubtedly quite strong. Under the arrangement of the TV station staff, he sat down in the reserved seat. Also in the backstage, the arrangement of the dressing table is very particular. First of all, the top superstars do not mix in the big room. They have separate VIP suites to use. Secondarily, the first and second line star idols occupy a separate space close to the stage entrance and exit, separated by a partition, while the third, fourth, fifth, and 18th line artists are all arranged in a neat and unified position in the large dressing room. As for other ordinary entertainers, such as backup singers and dancers, they basically can only stand in the corner, or even go to the circular corridor outside to wait for preparations. It's not easy to drink water. Originally, when Lu Chen participated in Singing China, there were not many singing contestants, so the backstage seemed very spacious. Now the rehearsal situation of the gala is completely different. It is very lively and crowded inside. The staff of the TV station have to hold an electronic loudspeaker to shout, otherwise it will be difficult to hear them clearly. After Lu Chen sat down, he didn't run around and cause trouble for people. He took out his mobile phone and started playing with it. His mentality is very relaxed. Because today is the first rehearsal, there is no need to put on makeup and change clothes, and it's just a matter of singing a song. Senior Lu Chen. As a result, Lu Chen had just logged into Lu Fei's message when a voice full of surprise came from the side. "You're here." Lu Chen couldn't help but turn his head and look, and suddenly smiled. Xiao Chu. It was none other than Mu Xiaochu who greeted him. Mu Xiaochu is a sophomore at Beijing Institute of Foreign Languages. She is only 19 years old this year, and can be regarded as Lu Chen's junior sister. Despite her delicate and soft personality, she has overcome all the difficulties in the competition of Singing China. With a sweet song, Small Town Nocturne, she narrowly defeated Gao Zhanpeng, the challenger of Bihai's singing area, with a total score of 91.68 points, and won the 5th place in the national top 10. In the final national final, the girl with a sweet voice won the 4th place in the total score and was signed by Flying Stone Records. After nearly a month, Lu Chen was also very happy to see this beautiful and lovely girl next door junior sister again. He got up with a smile and asked, "When did you come here?" Mu Xiaochu pursed her lips and said with a smile, "I just came here with senior brother Zhang Haohai." Only then did Lu Chen notice that there was a young man in a black jacket standing next to Mu Xiaochu. The man in the jacket is about 24 or 25 years old. His height is much lower than Lu Chen's. He is handsome and fashionably dressed. He has the temperament of an idol, but he has a bit of a fake smile on his face. "Brother Zhang," Lu Chen took the initiative to extend his hand to the other party. "Long time no see. How have you been?" Zhang Haohai is also one of the top 10 singers in Singing China. He is a native of Shansheng, a Beijing drifting singer. He has strong singing skills and is good at dancing. He won the 3rd place in the final and was also signed by Flying Stone Records. Lu Chen and Zhang Haohai are not familiar with each other. Apart from the original competitive relationship, there is no hatred or contradiction between the two, so the other party's slightly hostile attitude made Lu Chen a little puzzled. Singing China is over. It's all right. Zhang Haohai shook hands with Lu Chen lightly and said, "It's not as good as you. You've even released an album." Lu Chen said with a smile, "It's just good luck." Since Zhang Haohai is neither salty nor indifferent, he will not stick his hot face to the other party's cold butt. Mu Xiaochu said very seriously, "Senior Lu Chen, you don't rely on luck, but strength. I bought several copies of your album for my classmates to listen to. They all said it was very good and wanted to meet you." With a shy smile on her face, she said softly, "When can I invite Senior to have dinner together?" Zhang Haohai's face was a little dark. Lu Chen suddenly understood. It turned out that Zhang Xiaohai had an idea about Mu Xiaochu. When he saw the latter taking the initiative to approach him, he was unhappy. He shook his head secretly, but agreed, "No problem. You have my cell phone number. You can call me at any time. I'll invite your classmates to dinner." Mu Xiaochu was pleasantly surprised. "Really?" Lu Chen nodded seriously, "Of course it's true. As a senior, how can I deceive a junior sister?" Mu Xiaochu was amused. "Thank you, senior." The two chatted intimately, and Zhang Xiaohai finally couldn't stay any longer. He said, "You guys talk. I'm going." Mu Xiaochu and Lu Chen nodded and didn't speak. After Zhang Xiaohai left, the two looked at each other and smiled. Lu Chen could see that Mu Xiaochu didn't like Zhang Xiaohai, but out of politeness, he treated him with a cold face. Mu Xiaochu said, "Thank you, senior." The same sentence, the front and the back have very different meanings. Chapter 169. Mu Xiaochu is a good girl. She is pure and lovely, kind-hearted, but also intelligent, and her appearance is also first class. If there is any shortcoming, it is that she is not very tall. As for singing, Mu Xiaochu's talent was excellent. Even Chen Fei was full of praise for her voice. It was not just luck that allowed her to enter the finals among thousands of talent singers in the country. Most importantly, she has a good impression of Lu Chen and is willing to get close to Lu Chen. Lu Chen also has a good feeling about Mu Xiaochu, but this feeling is not the kind of feeling between a man and a woman. Mu Xiaochu is like his other sister, a sister who is worth taking care of and is willing to take care of. So, Lu Chen quietly helped her solve her trouble and drove away the annoying Zhang Xiaohai. Even if it may provoke Zhang Xiaohai's hatred. Mu Xiaochu is sitting next to Lu Chen. Zhang Xiaohai's position is also nearby. This afternoon's National Day party rehearsal, including Lu Chen, the top 5 of the top 10 contestants of Singing China have all come. Of course, it was invited by Beijing Television. According to the original terms that Lu Chen negotiated with Beijing Television, he licensed the copyright of Life on a String to Beijing Television for free, and in return, he will perform on the stage of satellite TV's National Day Party. Originally, the two sides agreed that Lu Chen would sing solo, but now it has been changed to a chorus of the top 5 contestants, which has big drop in value. When Lu Chen received a notice from Beijing Television a few days ago, he was upset. But when he thought about it, he was relieved. At such a level of party, and in Beijing, there are undoubtedly a lot of star artists who want to come on stage. There must be internal games and struggles. It's normal for the program to change. For example, Mu Xiaochu, Zhang Xiaohai, and another singer in the chorus are all signed by Flying Stone Records. Flying Stone Records has a long-term good cooperation with Beijing Television. Lu Chen did not have many connections in Beijing Television. He only knew a few people, and he did not put in much effort to do public relations. He was lucky that his program was not rejected. Changing the solo to a chorus was already giving him face. In this regard, Lu Chen was very clear. He was not arrogant enough to think that Beijing Television needed to beg him. The result of fighting for what was right was very likely to destroy the relationship that he had worked so hard to build. In addition, Lu Chen attached great importance to this performance, but it wasn't to the point where he had to go. Therefore, Lu Chen's state of mind was very peaceful. He would not complain about the unfairness of the world. He believed that as long as he worked hard to improve, there would be a day when he would be able to step on the red carpet of any level of stage. Mu Xiaochu obviously didn't know the inside story. From time to time, he would come over and talk to Lu Chen about the duet. The intimacy between the two attracted the attention of many people nearby. Especially Zhang Xiaohai, his neck was almost broken. Lu Chen treated him like air. Beep. 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 While chatting happily with Mu Xiaochu, they suddenly heard a series of beeping sounds around them. Many people had received text notifications on their phones. A woman who had been standing behind Mu Xiaochu picked up her phone and looked at it, revealing a surprised expression. The woman was in her 30s, with a thin and ordinary appearance. She was the personal assistant assigned to Mu Xiaochu by Flying Stone Records. Her name was Zhou Fang. Lu Chen also had an assistant, but there were too many things to do in the studio today, so he asked Li Feiyu to stay there to help. Mu Xiaochu turned around and asked curiously, "Sister Fang, what's wrong?" Ever since these text notifications sounded, the atmosphere backstage had become very strange and much quieter. Anyone could sense that something was wrong. Zhou Fang quickly looked around, bent down and said in a low voice, "Wang Bin was just caught taking drugs." Wang Bin? Mu Xiaochu was shocked. Is it that Wang Bin? There may be thousands of people named Wang Bin in the world, but there was only one famous one in the entertainment industry. Wang Bin could be regarded as an old senior in the music industry. He made his debut in the late 1980s and was very popular in the 1990s. He had released several records that sold more than 1 million copies, won many awards, and made great achievements in film and television. Although his influence in the Chinese music industry could not be compared with that of Tan Hong, he could also be regarded as a big shot. This character was actually arrested for taking drugs, which was absolutely a sensational event in the country, and was 100% sure to make the headlines. The news in the entertainment industry spread too fast. When one side was arrested, the other side received the news one after another. Wang Bin was one of the heavyweight guests invited by Beijing Television's National Day Party. The satellite TV side had already advertised it, but now that such a big thing had happened, it was bound to be a headache. Zhou Fang nodded and showed a mysterious expression. "I heard that it was reported by the people of Chaoyang District again. This year is the third one." The people of Chaoyang District in Beijing were simply godlike existences, the nemesis of star artists in the entertainment industry. Since the beginning of the year, according to the reports of the people of Chaoyang District in Beijing, as many as 10 well-known artists have been arrested because of drug abuse, sheltering drug abuse, and paying to solve their physical needs. Netizens joked that these people could make a prison blockbuster if they squatted together. On the surface, the entertainment industry was bright and beautiful, but in fact, it was also dirty. Many artists chose to indulge themselves for various reasons, and as a result, they embarked on the road of no return. Because many stars in Beijing lived in Chaoyang district, there were many accidents in this area. Especially in recent years, the government rectified the public security situation and vigorously cracked down on illegal and criminal activities, which made the people of Chaoyang district famous. The artists in the backstage of the studio all learned the news through their respective assistants. There was a lot of whispering and discussion. The words Wang Bin, drug abuse, arrested, and so on floated out from time to time. After almost half an hour in a strange atmosphere, a staff member appeared backstage. He raised the microphone and asked, "Lu Chen, is Mr. Lu Chen there?" Lu Chen was stunned, stood up instinctively, raised his hand and said, "I am here." In a twinkling, he became the focus of attention. Many of them were well-known singers and actors. Everyone's eyes were curious, doubtful and surprised. Lu Chen felt that the pressure was really a little big. Fortunately, the staff member immediately said, "Please come with me." Lu Chen hurried over. When he left the backstage area, the discussions behind him grew louder and louder, and it became noisy once more. Following the TV station staff, Lu Chen came to an office. The small office was filled with smoke, and the scene made Lu Chen feel familiar. There were also two acquaintances, Chen Qi, deputy director of Beijing Television, and Gurue, the music director of Singing China program group. The other people present were probably people from the TV station. The atmosphere in the room was very depressing. In particular, Gurue was frowning, his face was wrinkled like a bitter gourd, and he was smoking. When he saw Lu Chen coming in, he reluctantly squeezed out a smile. "Xiao Lu is here." In fact, he might as well not smile, which was even uglier. Relatively speaking, Chen Qi was much calmer. He pointed to the sofa next to him and said, "Xiao Lu, sit down." He introduced several colleagues to Lu Chen, namely, the host, assistant director, and so on. When Lu Chen politely greeted him and sat down again, the deputy director of Beijing Television asked him bluntly, "Do you know that Wang Bin was arrested for taking drugs?" Lu Chen nodded, "I just knew." Chen Qi sighed and said, "It's really unexpected that such a thing happened. Wang Bin's program is definitely going to be pulled down. Our opinion is that you should replace it." Ah. Lu Chen never expected that Chen Qi would let him replace Wang Bin's program. Gurue explained, "We originally gave you a solo program. Later, the situation changed, and now there has been an accident. I have discussed it with Director Chen, and you will replace Wang Bin. In addition, the program of Singing China's Top 5 will continue to be retained, which is equivalent to giving you 2 programs." Chen Qi said, "Xiao Lu, you are a good person, and you are the champion. You are fully qualified. So that's how it is. It's really a blessing in disguise." If Lu Chen had a disagreement with Beijing Television because of the change from solo to chorus, perhaps this opportunity would not have come to him at all. Lu Chen said without hesitation, "Thank you, Director Chen. Thank you, Director Gu. I will try my best to perform well. These 2 programs are absolutely a blessing from the sky." In fact, what Lu Chen really wants to thank is the people of Chaoyang district. "Don't worry," Chen Qi raised his hand and said, "Now the situation is like this. In the afternoon, several leaders of Central TV will come over. They will sit in the studio and watch our rehearsal. Later, you will replace Wang Bin. Your performance can't be bad." Gurue asked, "Do you have any ideas about the choice of the solo song?" Making a last-minute effort, Lu Chen was very young. Although Chen Qi and Gu Rui decided to put the burden on him, they still could not be completely relieved after all. Chen Qi said, "Why don't you sing the song, 'The Brightest Star in the Night Sky,' the champion's work?" Gurue said with a wry smile, Wang Bin was originally going to sing, "New China's New Era." I'm afraid Lu Chen's song, "New China's New Era," is a theme song, and the original singer is Wang Bin. Since it is the National Day Party, the theme style must be biased towards the theme. There has been Lu Chen's Life on a String before, plus the brightest star in the night sky. Guru's worries are not unreasonable. That, Chen Qi hesitated. He felt that he called Lu Chen over in a hurry. Was it not thoughtful enough? Maybe it would be better to change someone else? At this time, Lu Chen said, Director Chen, Director Gu, I have a work in the theme style. It should be very suitable for the National Day Party. He keenly felt the change in Chen Qi's mentality, so he immediately put forward his own opinion. If he didn't seize this opportunity, he wouldn't be in the entertainment industry. Guru's eyes lit up. What work? Where is it? Lu Chen pointed to his head in embarrassment and said, It's still here. Chapter 170. What? When he heard Lu Chen say that his work was still in his head, Guru felt that his head was going to explode first. This was AF * King scam. Forgive this gentle music director for swearing in his heart. He was really angry with Lu Chen. As a senior in the circle, Guru has always had a good impression of Lu Chen and appreciates the latter's talent very much. Lu Chen is young and handsome. He has a very high talent in singing and composition. It's rare that he doesn't have the arrogance and vanity of new artists. He is modest and peaceful without losing his passion. He is definitely one of the best newcomers in the pop music industry in recent years. If it weren't for the fact that his daughter was too young and still in junior high school, Guru would be happy to introduce her to Lu Chen. Therefore, after learning that Wang Bin had an accident, his first reaction was to let Lu Chen fill in. Originally, Guru was not in favor of changing Lu Chen's solo to a chorus. He felt that it was unfair to Lu Chen and violated the original agreement between the two parties, which made him embarrassed to meet this rising star. The situation in the satellite TV station is very complicated, and the interests of all sides are very deep. As a music director, Guru's right to speak is not high. Even if he wants to help Lu Chen, he is powerless. This time, Wang Bin's accident happened to be an excellent opportunity, so he strongly recommended Lu Chen to Chen Qi. Chen Qi also appreciated Lu Chen, so he called Lu Chen over. According to Guru's idea, it was to let Lu Chen replace Wang Bin to sing a well-known work with a theme. Unexpectedly, Lu Chen offered to have a new work available. Guru was simply surprised. But he never expected that Lu Chen's so-called new song hadn't been written yet. How could great director Gu not be annoyed? Chen Qi, the assistant director of the National Day Party, the director, and so on were all there. He couldn't hang his face. Several colleagues from the TV station showed disapproving expressions. Seeing that Guru's face turned red, Lu Chen quickly explained, Mr. Gu, give me 10 minutes. I'll type out the score first. I have an hour, and I can do the simple accompaniment. Look at the score first. If you're not satisfied with my work, you can do whatever you want. When he said the last sentence, his eyes shone with unparalleled confidence. It was this confidence and the good impression he had of Lu Chen that calmed Guru's anger that was about to erupt. He could not help looking at Chen Qi. The one who could decide this matter was the boss who held great power. Chen Qi said with a smile, young people are really impulsive. I'll give you 10 minutes then. To be honest, Chen Qi was a little annoyed when he heard Lu Chen's arrogant words just now. Youngsters nowadays really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. It was just that he was very shrewd and would not easily reveal his inner feelings. His original image had always been very good. Now that such a big incident happened, his career was completely finished. After being released, there was no chance for him to make a comeback. Because the higher authorities of the country had strict regulations on this. They had to ban him for at least 10 years. Albums could not be released, announcements could not be released, programs could not be on, no publicity could be done. Not to mention 10 years, a few years would basically be wasted. The price was absolutely disastrous. Even Beijing television had to follow suit. After all, they had used Wang Bin to advertise before. The impact is too bad, Chen Qi frowned and said, it's like sitting at home and disaster comes from the sky. The deputy director sullenly pressed the cigarette butt into the ashtray. It was already filled with filter cigarette butts. Although Beijing television was also a victim in this incident, in the eyes of outsiders, it was just bad luck. That was the National Day party, and the special guest made such a big scandal, which undoubtedly discredited the TV station. And as the actual leader of this National Day party, Chen Qi was really a bit passive. The halo that he had brought about by the success of Singing China was instantly stripped by more than half. Yes, Guru took out a cigarette and handed it to Chen Qi. The most important thing now is to eliminate the impact. He and Chen Qi are old colleagues and understand the latter's mind. People are lonely at the top. In a unit with a complex structure like a TV station, it is actually very tiring to be an official. Perhaps because of a small matter, he will inexplicably be demoted. Chen Qi took the cigarette and was about to light it when suddenly there was a sound of hot wind and a clicking mechanical sound. Huh! Both of them were stunned and turned their heads to look. They saw the laser printer on the shelf next to the desk spitting out a piece of printing paper. It could be seen that there were dense characters printed on it. So fast. Guru couldn't help but shiver and feel that it was incredible. Just now, Lu Chen said that he would give him 10 minutes to write a song. Guru didn't believe it. Even if there was a mature idea in his head, it would take time to write a score, unless he didn't pay attention to details. Therefore, he planned to give Lu Chen more time. After all, it's better to be generous and tolerant to young people. In the current pop music world, there is a lack of excellent creative newcomers like Lu Chen. As a result, he and Chen Qi had just finished smoking a cigarette, and Lu Chen had already printed out the score. Guru didn't know what to say. Why are you in such a hurry? Although he complained, Guru's movements were still very fast. He immediately straightened up and reached for the printout. He thought that if this work didn't meet the requirements, then he would criticize Lu Chen. Sometimes criticism is also a spur, which can help newcomers get rid of their impetuous mentality. Seeing Guru's action, Chen Qi said, "Ha," and shook his head with a smile. The printed paper was still warm and even a little hot, but Guru didn't care. He stared at the black and white notes and lyrics on the paper. The temporary score was of course a simplified score, but it didn't matter. Guru mainly looked at the melody, style, and lyrics of the song. In the beginning, he frowned and didn't seem very satisfied. But his eyebrows soon stretched out and gradually showed a look of excitement, as if he had found a treasure. The music director's lips were moving. He was singing without making a sound. Good. Suddenly, Guru slammed his palm on the coffee table and shouted excitedly, "Good song." He couldn't help but use all his strength, and as a result, the ashtray was knocked over. The assistant director sitting next to Guru was startled. The cigarette in his mouth suddenly fell down. As a result, it fell right on his trousers. He jumped up instinctively and patted it with his hands again and again. To be continued. Old Gu, what are you doing? Guru came to his senses and quickly apologized. Oh, old Wang, I'm really sorry. Look at me. The assistant director didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Do you have to be so excited? Guru handed the printed paper to the assistant director like he was presenting a treasure. Old Wang, you'll understand when you look at this song. The assistant director also knew music, so he had no problem reading simplified scores. Naturally, he could understand his mood. The assistant director took the score doubtfully. Was it so exaggerated? After giving up the score, Guru looked at Lu Chen again. He was suddenly angry. What are you looking at us for? Hurry up and make the accompaniment. We have to rehearse on stage at 3:30. The music director of Beijing television had put all his previous thoughts about Lu Chen behind him. This song was completely worthy of his support for Lu Chen. Chapter 171. Backstage of the T1 studio. Mu Xiaochu looked in the direction of the entrance and exit from time to time, with a trace of anxiety in her eyes. Lu Chen has been called away for almost an hour, but he hasn't been seen yet, as if he had evaporated from the world. And the chorus program, Life on a String, the top 5 singers of Singing China, will soon be rehearsed on stage. She didn't know what happened to Lu Chen, and just now, a staff member came over to inquire about the situation. How could this be? Mu Xiaochu was worried that Lu Chen's delay would affect the program schedule and would definitely offend Beijing television. Then Lu Chen's career future would definitely be greatly affected. But it was clearly the people from the station who called him away. It stands to reason that nothing should happen to him, but why hasn't he come back yet? Mu Xiaochu's heart was really in a mess. Zhang Haohai, who was sitting next to him, saw it. He knew what Mu Xiaochu was worried about, and his heart was full of jealousy. Xiaochu, you don't have to worry about others, Zhang Haohai couldn't help saying, let's get ready to go on stage. It's rehearsal anyway. It doesn't matter if there's one less. With that, a touch of ridicule appeared on his face. Zhang Haohai was eager for Lu Chen not to go on stage, and preferably to be brushed off by Beijing television. He admitted that whether it was appearance or talent, he was no worse than Lu Chen, but the latter was doing very well. Even Mu Xiaochu looked at Lu Chen in a different light and spoke bluntly to him. Mu Xiaochu pursed her lips. She glanced at Zhang Haohai and said lightly, this song was written by Senior Lu Chen. He is also the champion of Singing China. Without him, there would be no such program. Mu Xiaochu was kind-hearted, but that didn't mean she had no temper. She was reminding Zhang Haohai that Lu Chen was the core of this chorus track. One mustn't forget one's roots. And don't be self-righteous. Zhang Haohai's face suddenly turned red. He was the kind of person who had a strong sense of self-esteem. He couldn't stand other people's contempt, so he immediately wanted to retort. In the end, Mu Xiaochu didn't pay any more attention to him. Instead, he suddenly smiled, stood up, waved his arm, and said loudly, Senior Lu Chen, come quickly. It turned out that Lu Chen had appeared at this time. Zhang Haohai had no choice but to forcefully swallow the words he was about to say, and his expression was extremely ugly. Lu Chen had no idea what had just happened because of him. He walked back to his seat and asked Mu Xiaochu with a smile, what's wrong? Mu Xiaochu smiled and said, we're about to go on stage. Senior, are you ready? Her smile was so sweet that it made Lu Chen's heart skip a beat. He nodded and said, I'm ready. At this time, Lu Chen suddenly felt that the atmosphere around him had become strange. It suddenly quieted down. Mu Xiaochu also felt the same. She and Lu Chen turned their heads at the same time. What happened? They saw a beautiful woman in a rainbow-colored feather dress, escorted by several assistants like stars around the moon, came in front of them. She took the initiative to greet them with a smile, Lu Chen, Xiaochu, long time no see. This woman in a gorgeous dress was Chen Fei, the queen of sweet songs in the music industry, a big shot in the entertainment industry. There were a lot of star artists who came to the party rehearsal today, but in terms of status, no one was higher than her. If Wang Bin was still here, he might be able to compete with her. Unfortunately, he was now squatting in the detention center. Chen Fei had been in the entertainment industry for more than 10 years. This year, she was already 30 years old, but she was born beautiful and took good care of herself, so she looked like she was in her early 20s. Moreover, she had an amazing aura, so she naturally dominated the scene. No one dared to make a fuss in front of her. Many of them looked at her with respect and even reverence. Hello, Teacher Chen. Lu Chen and Mu Xiaochu replied in unison. Chen Fei, is one of the 4 judges of Singing China. She appreciates Lu Chen very much and likes Mu Xiaochu very much. Hello, Teacher Chen. The artists around them, including the other 3 top 5 singers, all got up and greeted them respectfully. Hello, everyone. The queen of sweet songs said with a smile, just call me sister. Calling me teacher makes me old. Mu Xiaochu said very cleverly, Sister Fei, Chen Fei nodded, stepped forward and took Mu Xiaochu's small hand and asked, what's your program? In full view of the public, Mu Xiaochu blushed at her intimate action and replied shyly, Sister Fei, our program is a chorus, singing Senior Lu Chen's song, Walking and Singing. Chen Fei, suddenly said, then the next program is you. She tilted her head and asked Lu Chen, I remember you promised to write a song for me, right? Have you finished writing it? Did you forget? The queen of sweet songs smiled. Her starry eyes were like water, with an indescribable charm, and even with a trace of girlish cuteness and beauty, which made people forget her real age. Lu Chen was a little dizzy. Fortunately, he had enough willpower. He quickly replied, It's been written. When do you want it, Sister Fei? I'll send it over. Chen Fei invited him to sing a song, but in the program. Therefore, Lu Chen didn't take it seriously, including Chen Fei's invitation to him as a guest at the concert. After all, the status between the two was too far apart. He didn't want people to misunderstand that he deliberately climbed up to the other party. He didn't expect that Chen Fei still remembered it, and seemed to be serious. Of course, he wouldn't be stupid enough to say that he wasn't prepared. Chen Fei was surprised. Really? That's great. Thank you. I'll ask my assistant to contact you. Lu Chen said, okay. The surrounding people who heard the conversation between the two of them all cast envious and jealous gazes at them. In their opinion, Lu Chen was so lucky. Not only did he get to know Chen Fei, but he was also going to write a song for her. It should be known that those who were qualified to cooperate with Chen Fei were all top-level figures in the industry. Lu Chen was just a new artist who had just made his debut, but he was actually favored by Chen Fei. If it wasn't luck, then what was it? Chen Fei noticed the strange gazes from all around, but she didn't care. She smiled and said, go ahead. After that, she went to the VIP room with her assistant. After Chen Fei left, the atmosphere backstage quickly returned to its original state. Then a staff member appeared, holding a microphone to remind the performers of the next program to get ready to go on stage. It was the chorus of Lu Chen, Mu Xiaochu, and others. The top 5 singers of Singing China will gather together in the waiting area, and then sing together on the stage. According to the arrangement of Beijing television, today is the first rehearsal for the National Day Party. It will be rearranged on the 21st, rehearsed on the 25th, and recorded live on the 29th. Which will be broadcast on the evening of October 1st. The schedule is very tight. If there is a problem with the program, additional rehearsals will be needed. Of the 4 major parties of Beijing television, except for the New Year's welcome party, the others are all recorded. Today's first rehearsal is very important for the artists who participate in the performance, because if their performance is not good enough, they may be brushed off, and it doesn't mean that they can be officially recorded. Therefore, whether it's Lu Chen, Mu Xiaochu, or Zhang Haohai, they all went all out and were very serious. Although it was the first time for the 5 singers to cooperate, there was basically no big problem, except that their cooperation was not very tacit. After all, the difficulty of this song is not high, and any one of them can easily control it. Beijing Television's T1 studio can accommodate 3,000 live audiences, but today is a rehearsal, so there are certainly not that many audiences. Basically, the people at the scene are the staff and relevant leaders of the TV station, including the judges of the party program group. After singing, the TV station's judges gave some advice and then let everyone off the stage. Today, their rehearsal is over. On the way back to the backstage, Mu Xiaochu asked, Senior Lu Chen, are you going back now? Artists' time is precious, especially those who have a lot of schedules. Although they are willing to squeeze out time to participate in the rehearsal of the party, the TV station is still very reasonable. Therefore, they can leave after the rehearsal and wait until the rehearsal on the 25th. Lu Chen shook his head and said, You go first. I still have a solo performance to rehearse. There's still a solo performance? Several other singers were stunned and couldn't believe their ears. Especially Zhang Haohai, whose jaw almost fell off. All 3 of them knew that this program was originally Lu Chen's solo performance. Later, after the public relations operation of the company they signed with Beijing Television, it was changed to a 5-person chorus. The only one who didn't know the inside story was probably Mu Xiaochu. The three of them couldn't help but gloat over Lu Chen's misfortune. Anyone who encountered such a thing would probably be depressed. But who would have thought that Beijing Television would actually prepare a solo performance for Lu Chen? Isn't this a little too much? Other star artists only have one program, but Lu Chen can be on 2. Is it because he is the champion? They are indignant, jealous and bitter, depressed and speechless. Only Mu Xiaochu is really happy for Lu Chen. Senior Lu Chen, you are really amazing. Lu Chen said with a smile, I was just lucky. Zhang Haohai and the others cursed in their hearts. What are you pretending for? But no matter how jealous they were, it didn't affect Lu Chen in the slightest. After saying goodbye to Mu Xiaochu, Lu Chen waited backstage for nearly half an hour before going on stage again. This time, he went on stage alone. At this time, more than half of the rehearsal program had passed, and there were a lot more people in the audience in the studio hall. Among them, the people sitting in the first 2 rows were very eye-catching. Lu Chen knew that these more than a dozen people were the top executives of Beijing Television, as well as 2 leaders of Central Television. Everyone's eyes were focused on him. Compared with the chorus of many people in front of him, the pressure he had to bear alone was undoubtedly doubled. Standing in the center of the stage, in front of the microphone, facing pairs of scrutinizing eyes, Lu Chen's heart was as still as water. Chapter 172. Stroking the sparse hair on his head, Lu Jingji twisted his fat waist and buttocks to make his huge body more comfortable against the soft chair, and the moderate soft and hard wrapping feeling of the chair also made him very comfortable. The little brother of those years is shaking. The director of the CCTV Literature and Art Program Department secretly sighed in his heart. It is said that the chair under his buttocks is worth more than 7,000 yuan, and is an ergonomic technology product. In the Beijing Television T1 studio, there are 2,999 similar soft chairs. This newly put into use studio claims to be the largest and most advanced facilities in China, and even Lu Jingji is a little jealous. The largest studio of CCTV can only accommodate 2,000 audiences at most. As a middle and high-level figure of CCTV, Lu Jingji went to Beijing Television today to watch the first rehearsal of the National Day Party. Of course, it was not because he was bored, but because he had a duty. CCTV, to which Lu Jingji belongs, is the most important news and public opinion organization in China. It is an important ideological and cultural front and one of the most competitive mainstream media. It has a variety of functions such as news dissemination, social education, cultural entertainment, information services, and so on. Founded in 1955, CCTV is the main channel for the national public to obtain information. It is also an important window for China to understand the world, and the world to understand China. It has a wide influence in the world. The predecessor of CCTV was Beijing Television Station. Later, after the restructuring, CCTV and Beijing Television were separated. As the saying goes, broken bones are still connected with tendons. The relationship between CCTV and Beijing Television is complicated enough to write a thick book. Many of the senior executives of Beijing Television came down from CCTV, and the latter also has the direct responsibility of guiding the former. This influence is comprehensive. The reason why Beijing Television produced its first reality show this year has a lot to do with CCTV. Beijing Television relies on CCTV to a certain extent, but it is not willing to be the latter's marionette. The great success of the ratings of Singing China inevitably made the little brother of CCTV have some ideas. So, Lu Jingji came here today, not just to guide the National Day Party of Beijing Television. Thinking about this, Lu Jingji was a little out of sorts. It wasn't until he saw Lu Chen appear on the stage that he turned his attention back to the program list in his hand. This program is... LV Jingji stared at the words on the program list and asked in confusion, Wang Bin's New China's New Era? Although director Louis was a little nearsighted, he was wearing high-end glasses that cost thousands of yuan. He could clearly see what the person on the stage looked like. Is this Wang Bin? Are you kidding me? Lu Jingji and Wang Bin knew each other and had eaten together before. Sitting next to him, Gao Zhixue, director of Beijing TV's editor-in-chief office, coughed and said awkwardly, Wang Bin. Wang Bin's program was temporarily changed. Wang Bin's program was changed? Replace him with such a young man? LV Jingji was a little confused. It was not uncommon for a program to be changed during the rehearsal of a TV gala. As for the reasons, it was very complicated. Some of them were because the program was really not good, some of them had problems with the performers, and some of them might have been squeezed out by the latecomers. But what kind of person was Wang Bin? He was not a top big shot, but he was a heavyweight guest of Beijing television. Will he be squeezed out? LV Jingji shook his head and asked, did something happen to Wang Bin? His words were spot on. At this time, his assistant came over and whispered a few words in his ear. In fact, LV Jingji's assistant and Gao Zhixue had already gotten the news, but they didn't tell him. The former didn't think it was necessary, and the latter didn't want to say it at all. Now that LV Jingji took the initiative to ask, his assistant couldn't pretend to be deaf and dumb, otherwise, he would be disrespectful to his leader. LV Jingji was stunned. After a while, he turned to look at Gao Zhixue with a strange look in his eyes. Gao Zhixue smiled helplessly. LV Jingji sighed, Wang Bin is still a good person. I guess he was possessed for a moment. Who is this? To be able to temporarily replace Wang Bin, he was certainly not an ordinary artist. Gao Zhixue secretly breathed a sigh of relief and hurriedly introduced, this is Lu Chen, the winner of Singing China. Lu Chen. LV Jingji frowned, and immediately relaxed. I remember, my son likes his songs. He looked at Gao Zhixue with a faint smile and said, originally, Wang Bin sang a theme song. You let this Lu Chen replace him. What song are you going to sing? Whether it is CCTV or Beijing TV, the program of the National Day Party must first be politically correct. The singing, which accounts for a large proportion of the program, must be dominated by theme songs, and popular songs are only a foil. The previous two programs were popular works, and now there is a champion of the talent competition. Director Louis had to find fault with him and give him a warning. Gao Zhixue could only continue to smile bitterly. It was arranged by Deputy Director Chen and Director Gu. They will not have no sense of the overall situation. The director of Beijing TV's chief editorial office also complained about his colleagues in his heart. If you want to sing a theme song, there are too many people to choose from. How can Lu Chen be the one to replace it? There is already a chorus program in front of Lu Chen. LV Jingji said meaningfully, I hope so. He thought that if the program was still a popular song, then he would have to say something. At this time, the host of the party program said loudly, the next program is a male solo, and the singer is Lu Chen, the winner of the first season of Beijing Television's Singing China! The name of the song he brought us is, I Love You China. As soon as the host's voice fell, there was a whisper of discussion in the audience. For the first rehearsal of the National Day Party, the audience in the studio was filled by the staff of the TV station. They all already knew that Wang Bin was arrested, and the program was destined to be replaced. But no one expected that the one who replaced the veteran singer was actually Lu Chen. LV Jingji was stunned. I Love You China. The name of the song is good. Why haven't I heard of this song before? Gao Zhixue was relieved at first, but then he raised his heart. I Love You China, the name of the song was the theme song, but in his memory, there was no such work at all. He really didn't know from which corner did Guru A find it. This old Gu, can he be more reliable? Gao Zhixue's depression was really needless to say. There are so many classic theme songs. What's the point of finding one that no one has ever heard? Isn't it good to sing, Happy Chinese People, Better Future of the Motherland, Red Flag, or Ode to China? Although depressed, Gao Zhixue still had to bite the bullet and explain, it should be a very good song. Heaven pitied him. He never knew that there was such a theme song. The next moment, the prelude of the music sounded. As soon as Gao Zhixue heard it, his heart turned cold. and his face looked very ugly. Never mind that he had never heard of this song, the accompaniment arrangement was very ordinary or even poor, like a rough job that was rushed at the last minute. Gao Zhixue has studied music and understands music. The only thing he was glad about was that Lu Jingji didn't understand it, at least he wouldn't immediately tell whether it was good or bad. But Gao Zhixue's expectation for this song instantly dropped to the freezing point. And among the staff of the TV station sitting in the back, many of them were knowledgeable. They either tightened their faces, or showed a funny look, and some were very surprised. Can a solo program of this level be used to make up the number? Then everyone looked at Lu Chen to see how he would sing. Lu Chen held the microphone and lowered his head. He began to sing along with the accompaniment. Whenever I feel pain, I want you to hold me tight, touch my soul like you always do. Whenever I am confused, you give me a kind of warmth, like someone's arm tightly around my shoulder. Sometimes I feel lonely and helpless, like a stone rolling down the hillside, but as long as I think of your name, I always regain confidence. Sometimes I lose my direction, like a swallow that strays from its flock in the sky, but as long as I think of your existence, I no longer feel fear. As Gao Zhixue listened, his eyebrows were twisted into a chuan character, and his dissatisfaction was overflowing. If it weren't for Lu Jingji's presence, he would have really cursed out on the spot. The chief editor's office director has been able to determine that he has never heard this song before. The previous melody and lyrics are not bright. The tune is soothing and deep, without the excitement of a theme song. Lu Chen's singing skills are still very good. His voice is unique and highly recognizable. His performance in the middle and low notes is worthy of the title of Singing China Champion. Most importantly, the melody and lyrics are obviously pop style. Where is the theme song? Gao Zhixue really can't listen to it anymore. He has already thought about it. This solo program must be replaced, and Gurue can't continue to be willful. And at this time, Lu Chen, who was standing on the stage, suddenly raised his head. His eyes were looking straight ahead, his eyes were full of firm strength, and his singing suddenly became excited and high-spirited. I love you, China's beloved mother, I cry for you and am proud of you. I love you, China's beloved mother, I cry for you and am proud of you. When the song, which contains infinite emotional power, rushed into Gao Zhixue's ears, he couldn't help but shiver. This chorus part, in an instant, the previous theme was sublimated, and reached a very strong height. The sharp contrast between the previous and the previous made the climax part give people a deafening strong feeling, as if a soft place in the heart was suddenly touched, making people involuntarily moved, and even goosebumps emerged. One day, this song will grow old, like a bud on an old tree, but I will still sing it over and over again, just like my life. Some people will slowly disappear, and some emotions will gradually break, but you are always like an unparalleled sun in my heart. I love you, China's beloved mother, I cry for you and am proud of you. I love you, China's beloved mother, I cry for you and am proud of you. The whole studio was silent, and all the voices of discussion disappeared. Only Lu Chen's singing was echoing, impacting, and beating, like waves in the sea. Wave after wave, they shocked everyone's hearts. Note, I love you, China, lyricist/composer, Wang Feng. Chapter 173. The rise and fall of domestic theme songs beat with the pulse of the times. Theme songs first flourished in the 50s and 60s, when the country was newly established and the whole society was full of vitality and vitality. Works reflecting the style of the times emerged one after another, giving birth to many classics. In the 70s and 80s, China achieved great unification, the reform and opening up to prosperity and wealth, and the material life of the people has been greatly improved. Theme songs followed the pace of the times, and a large number of famous young singers emerged, which are still active in the mainstream today. After entering the new century, theme songs, like ethnic songs and pop songs, became fewer and fewer classics. The style was the same, the melody was repeated, and gradually lost its original status. However, on the political level, the vitality of theme songs is still extremely tenacious. Many major festivals in China, such as National Day, Army Day, Victory Day, etc., have always been played by theme songs. For example, Beijing Television's 2015 National Day Gala, there were as many as 15 song and dance programs, accounting for 70% of the total, among which 11 were theme songs. There was no need to consider the ratings for this gala. Lu Chen was temporarily replaced to sing solo, so when Gu Rui intentionally asked him to sing the theme song, he immediately thought of many classic theme works from the dream world in his memory. That's right. There were too many songs to choose from, and any one of them was enough to dominate the scene. Not to mention others, there were two versions of I Love You China. In addition to the version that Lu Chen just sang, the other version was actually more classic and had the real theme style. However, after careful consideration, Lu Chen still chose the current version. The reason was very simple, the problem of composition and singing style. The other version was classic and excellent, and more in line with the requirements, but it was very different from the style of his previous works, including the melody, the lyrics, and the way of singing. The current version of I Love You China had a very good melody, rhythm, and emotional expression. It used the method of raising first and then restraining, expressing gratitude, attachment, love, and blessing to the motherland. Although the impromptu accompaniment was very rough, Lu Chen integrated sincere feelings when singing. Among them, I love you, China's beloved mother, I shed tears for you and I'm proud of you. These two lines were repeated 10 times, each time more intense than the last. For the audience at the scene, first of all, they felt very fresh. He had never heard of such a theme work before. Lu Chen's song, I Love You China, is obviously not pure, or the kind of theme style that everyone is familiar with. It is more inclined to pop, with a lot of light rock characteristics, which is refreshing. And the emotions expressed in Lu Chen's singing moved them. There was no doubt that it was a good song. At least Gao Zhixue was so engrossed that he completely ignored the flaws in the accompaniment and nodded along with the melody. He didn't even know when Gurue appeared beside him. Until Lu Chen finished singing. In the studio, there was a warm applause immediately. Although there were only 100 people present, the atmosphere was not bad. Many people even stood up and applauded. Director Gao, what do you think of this song? Gurue asked with a smile, a little proud. He took the risk to recommend Lu Chen. Lu Chen didn't let him lose face and really made him proud. Gao Zhixue came back to his senses and saw Gurue. He suddenly smiled. Yes, this song shouldn't be Lu Chen's original, right? I've never heard of it before. If such a work wasn't a new creation, it was impossible for him not to have heard of it. Gurue nodded and replied, yes. Gao Zhixue sighed, young people nowadays are really amazing. Each generation is stronger than the previous one. When Director Gao said this, he didn't notice the expression of Director Lu Jingji, who was sitting on his right. Lu Jingji frowned and suddenly reached out and patted the microphone on the table in front of his seat. Puff. Puff. He asked, this little comrade, did you write this song yourself? Lu Chen replied, yes. There was a soft hubbub in the auditorium, and everyone was praising Lu Chen's talent. Lu Jingji moved his but a little uneasily. He straightened up and said very seriously, this little comrade, the lyrics of your work are not bad. Your creative talent is worthy of recognition, but the style is not very compatible with the National Day Party. We need to reconsider. What? Gao Zhixue, Gurue, and the staff of Beijing Television were stunned. This song is not very compatible with the National Day Party? What is this? Lu Jingji probably realized that he didn't explain clearly enough, so he added, that is, the characteristics of the theme are not reflected. It is too similar to an ordinary pop song. This reason, Gao Zhixue was a little speechless. Is this nitpicking? Gurue suddenly became anxious. His face turned red in an instant and he shouted, the music director of Beijing Television appreciates Lu Chen and Lu Chen's song, I Love You China. Although this song seems a bit deviant as a theme work, both the melody and the lyrics are excellent. It should really be regarded as a unique innovation. From the glory of theme works to the decline, such innovation is needed too much, and it should be strongly encouraged and supported. How can it be beaten to death with a stick like this? Gurue's character is upright, and he immediately wants to argue with Lu Jingji. However, Gao Zhixue reacted very quickly and immediately stopped Gurue and said to Lu Jingji, "Let's reconsider this song, or change it to a more suitable one." Gurue is unhappy, but he is also happy in his heart. It's true that Lu Jingji's level is higher than his, but Lu Jingji is the leader of CCTV, not Beijing TV. Such an overstepping of his authority to veto the program is somewhat suspected of slapping his face on the spot. However, nominally, CCTV has the responsibility of guiding Beijing TV in many aspects. Lu Jingji came for this purpose. His reason can't be said to be completely wrong. At least, Gurue shouldn't and can't have a direct conflict with him. LV Jingji smiled and leaned back comfortably in his seat. Since he's here, he can't be a clay bodhisattva. He must make a sound. Everyone's eyes returned to the stage. Lu Chen is still standing there. Many staff members who acted as audience members showed a sympathetic look. Any newcomer who was beaten like this will probably be very depressed, right? Embarrassment are certain. But what everyone didn't expect was that Lu Chen's expression didn't change in the slightest because of Lu Jingji's denial. He pondered for a moment and said into the microphone, "Director Gu, 2 leaders, in fact, I have another work that may be more suitable. Can I sing it again?" "Huh? Sing another song?" Lu Jingji couldn't help but be stunned. He turned his head and looked at Gao Zhixue, looking a little unhappy. If it's a party rehearsal of CCTV, Lu Jingji would never agree to such a request. Death was death. If everyone wanted to give him another chance, wouldn't everything be a mess? Moreover, Lu Chen is suspected of not respecting his leaders enough. But after all, this is Beijing television, and the rehearsal is a party program of Beijing television. He has just made a move once. If he makes his own decision, it would be too disrespectful to Gao Zhixue. Does he really think that the chief editorial office director is made of clay? So, Lu Jingji used his face to signal to Gao Zhixue to decide for himself. Gao Zhixue's heart seemed to be galloping with 10,000 grass mud horses. The chief editorial office director is really not made of clay. Even a clay man has 3 points of anger. He thought for a moment and said resolutely, "Lu Chen, then you sing another song." In fact, this is not in line with the rules, but Gao Zhixue doesn't want to be controlled by others on his own home ground. So many people in the station are watching. Where can he put his face? Gurue looked happy and quickly asked, "Lu Chen, do you want to go down and prepare first?" Director Gu is worried that Lu Chen is not fully prepared for the temporary song change. If he sings badly again, it will be really over. He is very reluctant to see Lu Chen lose the opportunity to go on stage. Lu Chen smiled confidently and said, "Thank you, 2 leaders, thank you Director Gu. I can sing this song without accompaniment." His smile infected Gu Rui, giving the latter an inexplicable sense of trust. He said, "All right then." Lu Chen nodded. He took a deep breath and said into the microphone, "This song is also my original work. Its name is, I Love You China." What? Everyone in the studio wondered if they had heard it wrong. Didn't Lu Chen just sing, "I Love You China"? Why is he singing, "I Love You China" now? Love again, no, sing again? Lu Jingji made a ha sound, and the expressions of Gao Zhixue and Gurue froze. Behind them, there was a burst of discussion. I didn't hear wrong, did I? Did he say it wrong, or did I hear it wrong? Why is it, "I Love You China" again? Is this Lu Chen confused from singing? Hee, it's a little interesting. But whether it was the faces of the TV station leaders or the criticism, it had no effect on Lu Chen. He opened his voice and directly sang another new song in the style of the main theme. The lark flies across the blue sky, "I love you China, I love you China. I love you China, I love your vigorous seedlings in spring. I love your golden fruits in autumn. I love your green pine temperament. I love your red plum character. I love the sugar cane of your hometown, like milk nourishing my heart. When Lu Chen sang the first line of the lyrics with a clear and pure voice, the audience was in awe. Note, I Love You China, lyrics, Chu Tsong/composer, Zheng Qiufeng. Chapter 174. Lu Chen didn't know Lu Jingji and thought that the other party was a high-level leader in Beijing television. Therefore, when Lu Jingji rejected his new song, Lu Chen couldn't be completely indifferent. Perhaps he was surprised, or ashamed, or resentful, but now that he is standing on this stage, if he wants to become a real big star, he must learn to calmly face any doubts, criticisms, and even slander. How can he see the rainbow without going through wind and rain? So, he didn't get excited to argue. Not only would it not help, but it would only leave a bad impression. But Lu Chen would never silently endure the injustice imposed by others. He resolutely proposed to sing another song. Didn't you say that it wasn't theme enough? Then let's sing a real theme song. There are countless pearls in his memory treasury, and choosing any one at random is enough to reverse the situation. And Lu Chen is lucky. First of all, he has wonderful and excellent works. Secondly, Lu Jingji is not the leader of Beijing television. Director Lu is from CCTV. In terms of rank alone, Lu Jingji is undoubtedly the highest among all the people present, but he can't be in charge of Beijing television. The support of Gao Zhixue and Gurue gave Lu Chen a valuable opportunity. He didn't hesitate to bring out his strongest strength. This real theme song, I Love You, China, is absolutely a classic in the dream world. Its original singer is bel canto, but as long as you have enough strength, it's no problem to change to popular singing. And Lu Chen's interpretation of this song is a perfect combination of bel canto and popular singing. The lark flies across the blue sky, I love you, China. In the first line of the lyrics, Lu Chen showed off his singing voice, showing off his talent in the treble to everyone present in a way that was almost showing off, instantly shocking the audience. Like the first cry of a blue swan, his voice shook the 9 heavens. He used his own song to destroy all doubts with a crushing force. Many of the TV station staff sitting in the audience straightened their backs, and some even had their scalps tingling. They couldn't help but hold their breath and listen attentively to Lu Chen's singing. Their intuition tells them that Lu Chen is serious this time, and what he will take out again must be a blockbuster. Lu Chen did not disappoint. His voice was mellow, bright, clear, and clean. The rhythm of every single word was perfectly controlled. Amidst the majestic atmosphere, it was filled with tenderness and deep affection, and it was precisely grasped in all sorts of ways. Although it was her first time singing, and although there was no accompaniment, it felt as if she had sung it thousands of times. The first few lines were still sung in a very traditional way. Every line conformed to the norm, and the style of the main melody was incomparably distinct. Then, Lu Chen gradually added a little rock and roll flavor, and the rhythm became slightly faster, which paved the way for the following section. When it came to the line, I love your pine temperament, Lu Chen's voice changed. It was no longer mellow and bright. The rock and roll mood overflowed with the passion of the song, making people unconsciously feel that their blood was boiling in their bodies. The few lines of I love you were even more energetic and soul-stirring. At this point, he suddenly used a falsetto voice to end it so gently after being bold. In terms of singing skills alone, it was really admirable. And this was only the beginning. I love you, China, I love you, China, I want to dedicate the most beautiful song to you, my mother, my motherland. I love you, China, I love you, China, I love you, the rolling South China Sea, I love you, the snowy North Country. I love you, the boundless forest, I love you, the lofty mountains, I love you, the gurgling river, flowing through my dreams with clear waves. I love you, China, I love you, China, I want to dedicate the best youth to you, my mother, my motherland. Ah, I want to dedicate the best youth to you, my mother, my motherland. This song, I Love You, China, uses the traditional writing technique of China's Fu Bai Xing. It can be described as one chant and 3 sighs, concise words and sentences. In the lyrics, the use of repetition, parallelism and other techniques, the image and delicate portrayal of the spring seedlings and autumn fruits of the motherland, forests, mountains and rivers, fields and crops, etc., expressing the full enthusiasm and sincere patriotism for the motherland. The song is composed of 3 parts. The first part is the introduction. The rhythm is relatively free, the breath is broad, the tone is bright, high-pitched, and the melody is undulating, which brings people into the artistic realm of a lark overlooking the earth and singing loudly. The second part is the main part of the song. The rhythm is relatively flat, and the melody rises layer by layer. It is euphemistic, deep and internal. It spreads out a magnificent picture of the great rivers and mountains of the motherland, so that the theme of the work continues to deepen. The third part is the ending section. After the expression of the line, "Ah," the whole song is pushed to the climax. And the last sentence, my motherland," ends in the high register, containing a full of fiery patriotism, which makes people feel drunk. Lu Chen sang it in one breath, and he only sang it once. When the last sentence, my motherland, was sung, Lu Chen's face was already red, which was the external manifestation of the use of breath to the extreme, and also the manifestation of his inner excitement. This song, in terms of singing skills alone, has reached his previous peak. Even Lu Chen himself felt a little incredible that he could sing so well, and all the negative emotions squeezed in his heart were completely vented through singing, as if he had put down a heavy burden. He felt refreshed and relaxed all over. Whether he could sing solo on Beijing Television's National Day party or not, Lu Chen had no regrets. This is the pride of a singer. The hall of Beijing Television's T1 studio was quiet, as if it had been cast with a silent magic. Clap. 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 I don't know who was the first to clap his hands, and then everyone was moved in an instant. The staff of the TV station, who acted as the audience, stood up, one after another, row after row. They didn't make any noise, they just applauded. At first, it was disorderly, but soon it became very orderly. The judges sitting at the front also applauded. The most excited one was Gurue. He stared at Lu Chen with his eyes shining, as if he had found a rare treasure. The fat on Lu Jingji's face twitched, and he also raised his palms and clapped. Whether director Lu admitted it or not, Lu Chen's singing was extremely wonderful. He was fully qualified to stand on the big stage of Beijing Television. And his second song, I Love You China, was 100% a theme work, and it was also a fine work in its category. If Lu Jingji wanted to deny this, then he would really become a clown. Therefore, whether he was willing or not, he had to give applause to Lu Chen. Even if he felt like slapping himself in the face. The warm applause lasted for more than half a minute. If Gao Zhishua hadn't stood up and turned around to signal everyone to be quiet, I'm afraid it would have continued. This was the first time such a situation had happened in the afternoon rehearsal. Even when Chen Fei came on stage before, he didn't win such enthusiastic applause from these TV station staff. Whether they understood music or not, they all thought it was a really good song in the theme. Gao Zhishua sat down again and asked Lu Jingji with a smile, Director Lu, do you think this song by Lu Chen is okay? There was a hint of mockery in his eyes. Although Lu Jingji couldn't see it, he could understand the other party's thoughts. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't ashamed. But on the surface, he smiled as if nothing had happened. Well, this song is very good. It's enough to go on CCTV. On CCTV. Gao Zhishua's pupils shrank suddenly. He forgot that CCTV also has a National Day party, and the scale and lineup are much stronger than that of Beijing TV. Lu Chen's song, I Love You China, although the lyrics are simple and unpretentious, has a moving passion. It expresses the infinite affection for the motherland incisively and vividly, making people fully experience a strong emotion gushing out. Such a song could become a classic, and it would be a classic among the main themes. As the director of Beijing TV's editor-in-chief office and an expert in music, Gao Zhishue deeply understands how difficult it is to come up with a theme classic now. This song, I Love You China, will undoubtedly become a highlight of the National Day party. How can it be taken away by CCTV? Gao Zhixue subconsciously wanted to refuse. But Gao Zhixue, after all, is not an ordinary person. He swallowed the words that were on the tip of his tongue. What time is it now? CCTV's National Day Party rehearsal is much earlier than that of Beijing TV. It's basically impossible for Lu Jingji to push Lu Chen onto the stage of CCTV. Watching the Beijing TV party may be all the people in the entertainment circle in Beijing, and watching the stage of CCTV is the whole country. Lu Jingji is just teasing people. Old fox. Gao Zhixue secretly cursed in his heart, but said with a smile, if Director Lu is willing to recommend him, I'm very happy that Lu Chen can appear at CCTV's National Day Party. Lu Chen is the champion of Singing China, and a new star supported by Beijing television. If Lu Jingji really wants him, he is really willing to strongly recommend him. Lu Jingji said regretfully, it's a pity that our station's party program is full. Of course, he didn't really want Lu Chen. He just said that to save face. The two old foxes were scheming against each other. Gurue next to them couldn't sit still. He didn't have time to ask Gao Zhixue. He said into the microphone, Lu Chen, your work is more wonderful. Then use this song. Can you bring a complete accompaniment to the rehearsal on the 25th? Lu Chen said confidently, no problem. Of course, there is no problem. Even if he works day and night, he will ask someone to arrange and produce the accompaniment. Gurue said with a smile, that's all right. His EQ is not too low. Then he asked Gao Zhixue, Director Gao, what do you think? Gao Zhixue nodded with a smile, okay, then it's settled. As a result, Lu Chen's I Love You China has been officially determined as one of the solo programs at Beijing TV's National Day Party. Comrade Xiao Lu, wait first. Just when Lu Chen was about to leave the stage, Lu Jingji suddenly stopped him. Lu Chen was stunned. The director of CCTV's Literature and Arts Program Department asked with a smile, do you want your work to appear at CCTV's National Day Party? Chapter 175. CCTV's National Day Gala. These simple words seem to possess some sort of magical power, causing everyone present to involuntarily cry out in surprise. In China, China's Central Television is undoubtedly an overlord. It is the highest-level TV broadcasting organization representing the government. Its strength and heritage are incomparable to all satellite TV stations combined. Being able to perform at CCTV's gala is the dream of countless artists, especially the annual Spring Festival Gala. Its ratings are as high as 90%, which is a shortcut to reach the sky in one step. Of course, the National Day Gala can't be compared with the Spring Festival Gala, but it's also a top stage that newcomers like Lu Chen can't reach. Without enough contacts and qualifications, don't even think about setting foot in it. Now Lu Jingji actually asked Lu Chen if he wanted to go up, which made everyone's glasses fall to the ground on the spot. Isn't this a bit too exaggerated? Gao Zhixue couldn't believe it. Director Lu, are you kidding me? Gurue was directly dumbfounded. Is it really going to be intercepted by CCTV? CCTV intercepting Beijing TV programs has really happened before. Who made the relationship between the two so complicated? But Lu Chen didn't get carried away. He had an instinctive sense of vigilance against the big-bellied leader and didn't think the other party would let him off so easily. Lu Chen thought for a moment and asked, excuse me, leader, is it just my work? Because he was sober enough, he grasped the core of the problem. Does he want the person, or just the work? The difference is too big. Gao Zhixue and Gurue reacted and looked at Lu Jingji. Lu Jingji said with a smile, Comrade Xiao Lu, your song is very good. I think it is qualified to be on a bigger stage, but the performers of our CCTV National Day Gala are all in place, hee hee. His meaning was very clear. The person couldn't be changed, but it was fine to change the song. Lu Jingji wanted to intercept the song, I Love You, China. As for Lu Chen, wanting to be on the stage of CCTV? That could only be a hee-hee. In fact, to be fair, it was already a great honor for Lu Chen's work to appear on CCTV's gala. Even if Lu Jingji wanted to change the song, it would take some effort. He had his own plans. Although Gao Zhixue and Gurue were glaring at him, LV Jingji was still calm and confident. He didn't think that Lu Chen would reject his suggestion. As long as one wasn't a fool, one wouldn't miss such an opportunity to build a relationship with Central TV. In comparison, what was Beijing television? Moreover, even if Lu Chen didn't sing, "I Love You, China," he still had another song. Of course, the song had to be renamed. It would not do to have the same name. However, no matter how well director Lu thought, he didn't understand Lu Chen. Lu Chen smiled and said, "Thank you, leader, but I want to sing this work on the stage of Beijing television." His attitude was polite, but his tone was firm. Lu Chen was more or less surprised that Lu Jingji was the leader of Central TV. Lu Jingji's suggestion also made Lu Chen's heart waver for a moment. This was Central TV they were talking about. But Lu Chen quickly calmed down. Lu Jingji only wanted his work, and his arrogant attitude made Lu Chen feel disgusted. Most importantly, if Lu Chen gave up "I Love You, China" for the immediate benefits, it would be equivalent to slapping Beijing television in the face, and it would definitely make Gurue, who had always supported him, disappointed. Therefore, it was destined that Lu Chen wouldn't agree. Perhaps in the eyes of others, his decision was very stupid, but Lu Chen had his own principles and beliefs. As a man, there were things he shouldn't do, and things he must do. Even if it might offend the leader of Central TV. Lu Jingji's smile instantly froze. He didn't expect that Lu Chen would reject it directly. He didn't even think about it. This made him feel very embarrassed. However, Lu Jingji was very shrewd. He immediately smiled and said, "Well, that doesn't matter. The decision is up to you." Although that was what he said, there was still a resentful look in his eyes. He really didn't know what was good for him. Gao Zhixue and Gurue looked at each other. No one expected Lu Chen to be so courageous. Gao Zhixue coughed and said, "Lu Chen, then you go back and quickly prepare the arrangement." He was ready to be slapped in the face by Lu Jingji, but the result was really unexpected. A newborn calf is not afraid of a tiger. At this moment, Gao Zhixue, like Gurue, had a trace of love for Lu Chen. If such a young man didn't die prematurely, his future was limitless. Lu Chen bowed and then left the stage. His rehearsal for today was over, so he went backstage to get his things and left. As a result, as soon as he got out of the gate of the TV station, Lu Chen was stopped. The other party looked very capable in a suit and leather shoes, and his attitude was also polite. "Mr. Lu Chen, Miss Chen Fei, wants to see you. Is it convenient for you now?" "Sister Fei?" Lu Chen vaguely remembered that this man in a suit was Chen Fei's attendant, so he didn't think much about it. "Where is she?" Led by the man in a suit, Lu Chen came to the parking lot of the TV station. The man in a suit opened the door of a silver-gray extended Mercedes-Benz business car, bowed and made an inviting gesture to him. Lu Chen nodded and leaned over to get into the car. The man in a suit immediately closed the door. The space inside the business car was unexpectedly large, and the interior was luxurious. 2 rows of leather sofas were placed opposite each other, and there was a coffee table, a small bar, a refrigerator, a TV, and other equipment. There was no smell in the car, but a faint fragrance wafted in the air. Chen Fei sat alone on the sofa. When she saw Lu Chen come in, she smiled sweetly and said, "Lu Chen, I hope you don't mind that I invited you here like this. There are a lot of reporters outside. Today was the first rehearsal of Beijing Television's National Day Party. Many stars and artists came, so there were a lot of entertainment reporters, commonly known as paparazzi, squatting outside the building of the TV station. If Chen Fei waited for Lu Chen at the door in person, it was estimated that they could make up a groundless scandal if they were photographed by the reporters. The parking lot of the TV station was closed and managed. One could enter and exit with a card, so there was no need to worry about the paparazzi's camera here. Lu Chen understood. "Sister Fei, if there's anything, just say it. As long as I, Xiao Lu, can do it, just say it." Chen Fei was a senior who had been in the industry for many years, and she was also a big artist in the circle. Most importantly, she had taken care of Lu Chen. Lu Chen always remembered this favor, but he was afraid that he would not have the opportunity to repay it. After all, the gap between the status of the two was too big. Chen Fei pursed her lips and said with a smile, "It sounds so nice. You must be very good at coaxing girls, right?" The Queen of Sweet Song was really a natural beauty. She wore light makeup today, but there were no flaws on her delicate and beautiful face. Her bright eyes and white teeth made people feel close to her. And she didn't have the slightest arrogance in front of Lu Chen. In addition, it must be pointed out that she was a fully mature woman, but mixed with the innocence of a young girl, forming a strange seductive charm, which was infinitely expanded in the narrow space in the car. Lu Chen's mental fortitude was very strong, but he still felt a sense of suffocation sitting opposite her. For her teasing, Lu Chen could only smile bitterly. Chen Fei said with a smile, "Well, I won't joke with you. I just want to ask, the song you just sang, 'I Love You China,' is it your own work?" Lu Chen was surprised. "Sister Fei, have you seen my rehearsal?" Chen Fei nodded. "Yes, I can see it in the backstage VIP room. I was going to leave, but your song made me stay. Both songs are very good and wonderful." Her eyes were bright. "I prefer the latter song, 'I Love You China.' You sang it so well." Being stared at so closely by the Queen of Sweet Song, Lu Chen felt a little stressed. "Thank you." Chen Fei smiled heartily and said, "So I just want to ask, can you authorize me to cover this song?" "So that's how it is." Lu Chen understood and replied without hesitation, "No problem at all. In fact, Sister Fei, you can ask someone to call me." Chen Fei said seriously, "That's not the same. It's true that Lu Chen is a newcomer, but the talent he has shown in writing has even surpassed many well-known songwriters, and is completely worthy of her looking at him differently." In the circle, the status of singer-songwriters has always been very high. If Lu Chen can always maintain a strong creative inspiration and come up with more fine works, he will inevitably achieve a high position. Chen Fei is not so close and kind to all newcomers, especially men. Lu Chen's creative strength made her respect him. Especially the song, "I Love You China," just now, which even shocked Chen Fei. Although in the pop music world, Chen Fei still maintains the reputation of the Queen of Heaven, she knows very well that the sweet songs and love songs she is good at have lost their market among the young people of the new era. If she doesn't want to be silent, Chen Fei must transform. But this is obviously not an easy thing. Because everyone is used to her image, her voice and style. If the transformation is not successful, the consequences will be very serious. Of course, Lu Chen's song, "I Love You China," can't help her transform immediately. She has no intention of developing into a theme singer for the time being, but at least this is a road, and she once again saw the amazing talent of Lu Chen. Chen Fei is a very smart woman. She decisively invited Lu Chen to talk privately and wanted to buy the cover rights of this song. What she really wants is to establish an important cooperative relationship with Lu Chen. Lu Chen didn't let her down. Chen Fei was suddenly in a good mood. "That's great," she thought about it and said, "I'll treat you to dinner tonight. You promised to write a song for me. We can talk while we eat. How about this, you decide the place to eat, and I'll pay the bill." "Are you driving?" Lu Chen, he can't keep up with the thinking of the Queen of Sweet Song at all. Chapter 176. As the sky gradually darkened, the street lights on both sides of the street were all lit up, and night was about to fall. Lu Chen drove his Zhonghua X7 City, moving in the rolling traffic at a speed of no more than 10 yards per hour. Although Beijing had taken off the hat of blocking the city a few years ago, the roads in Beijing's second and third ring road were still very crowded during the evening rush hour, and traffic jams often occurred, which made people helpless. Hello, listeners and friends, this is Beijing Music Radio FM 102.6. The following song is from Chen Fei's Happy Angel, wishing everyone a good night. Listening to the FM radio from the car radio, Lu Chen couldn't help turning his head to the right. In the passenger seat, a woman in a t-shirt and jeans was sitting. Big and small English letters were printed all over the white t-shirt, which was as wide as a bat. Set off by splash ink multiple colors, it was full of postmodernist exaggeration, which was exactly the style that trendy young people like. The material of the dark blue jeans was very thin, and the surface was torn with many holes, revealing the white jade-like skin inside. She had a fluffy ponytail, a thick purple eyeshadow on her face, a pair of color-framed flat glasses on the delicate and small bridge of her nose, and her red lips were shocking like fire. Her left and right earlobes were hung with long purple gold wire earrings, shining in the flashing headlights from time to time. Such a style is very common in the personal space of QQ Group and QQ Group, basically from those post-90s girls who crazily love selfies. They chase fashion and color and like personalized decoration, even if it looks very exaggerated. But this one, Lu Chen was really speechless. He never dreamed that Chen Fei could dress up like this. If an entertainment reporter photographed Chen Fei, her style, and left all his assistants and entourage behind to go shopping and eat with him, it was estimated that he would be able to occupy the headlines tomorrow. His image would be completely ruined. Is there a queen of sweet song? Is there a jade girl leader? Is there a goddess who is the center of attention? All of them are going to be destroyed. Lu Chen felt a pain in his balls, and he was under a lot of pressure. Why did he agree? All right, Lu Chen had to admit that the temptation of bringing a heavenly queen shopping was irresistible. It was obviously not the first time for Chen Fei to play like this. Previously, he got out of the Mercedes-Benz business car and waited outside for just over half an hour. When he saw that the heavenly queen had completely changed her appearance. Even if she walked openly on the bustling street, no one would be able to tell her true identity. Chen Fei noticed Lu Chen's gaze and seemed to know what he was thinking. He said softly, "People like us don't have our own lives to speak of. It feels like we are living for someone else. We look glamorous on the surface, but we have to bear a lot of pressure behind the scenes. I'm not surprised that something happened to Brother Wang Bin, because he started that way a long time ago, and he couldn't control it. I don't want to use that kind of self-destructive way to relieve pressure, so when I have a chance, I run out and become an ordinary person. I go shopping, buy clothes, eat things I usually don't dare to eat, go to the amusement park to ride roller coasters, go to the arcade to play games." She told her story, mixing it with her voice that came from the radio station. Lu Chen was silent. After a while, he asked curiously, "Sister Fei, you ran out with me like this, isn't it? Wasn't Chen Fei afraid of being worried?" After all, he was a young and strong man. If she really suffered a loss, she could only swallow it herself. "What are you thinking?" Chen Fei rolled her eyes at him and said, "I think you are my younger brother. My younger brother is the same age as you." She smiled and said, "If I could be 10 years younger, would really consider you." Chen Fei had never been shy about her age. She was 30 years old this year, 8 years older than Lu Chen. She was very fond of Lu Chen. She appreciated his talent and believed in his character. Lu Chen smiled bitterly and rubbed his nose, speechless. Chen Fei blinked and asked, "Lu Chen, you don't have a girlfriend yet, do you?" Lu Chen nodded. "Yes, I don't have such thoughts for the time being." Chen Fei sighed and said, "That's true. Us artists are also different from ordinary people in love. We are always exposed to the flashing lights, and we are often separated from each other." She suddenly said, "Xiao Chu likes you very much. Don't you think about it? She is a very cute girl." "Xiao Chu?" Lu Chen was stunned, and soon realized that Chen Fei was talking about Mu Xiao Chu. He shook his head and said, "I think Xiao Chu is my younger sister." Hearing Lu Chen's answer, Chen Fei suddenly smiled. She just said that Lu Chen was her younger brother. The Queen of Sweet Songs smiled beautifully, and even heavy makeup couldn't cover it. The atmosphere in the car became warm and harmonious. Even the stagnant traffic started to move. When Lu Chen parked the car in the parking lot near Shikahai, it was already dark. In the evening, Chen Fei invited him to dinner, but she didn't want to go to a luxury restaurant or a five-star hotel. Instead, she wanted to eat the special snacks of the old capital, so she came to Shikahai. Shikahai's snack street was famous throughout the capital, gathering dozens of century-old brands such as yushengzai, fried tripe fong, tea soupli, rice cake money, cheese whey, sheephead horse, tofu white and so on. Originally, Shikahai's snack street was hidden in Xiaoyu Alley next to Song Qingling's former residence. It was a large square courtyard, which could only accommodate hundreds of customers at the same time at most. Later, because the business was too hot, the government replanned the construction, connecting the old alley and the new pedestrian street, adding more food and snacks from all over the country and even foreign countries, and combined with the surrounding modern shopping malls, forming an integrated pattern of eating, drinking, playing, and shopping. Business was booming here every day, especially at 6 or 7 o'clock, when there were so many people. I want to eat fried tripe, rice cake, tofu pudding. Chen Fei took Lu Chen's arm and said, there are also mutton skewers, shumai, soup dumplings, lemon juice. Walking on the antique old street, the two followed the crowd, like an ordinary couple. Chen Fei is more than 1.7 meters tall. Even without wearing high heels, she looks very good beside Lu Chen. Lu Chen was surprised. Can you eat it? Aren't you afraid of getting fat? Chen Fei laughed. No, I'm not afraid. I only eat it once or twice every few months. Lu Chen also relaxed. It's good that you're not afraid. Then let's eat to our heart's content, eat if we want to eat. If Chen Fei was not afraid, what did he have to be afraid of? That's right. Chen Fei laughed. We're out to relax, so don't think too much. Being happy is the most important thing. In other words, they are willful. So, the two willful people first ran to a stall selling mutton skewers, and Lu Chen asked the stall owner for 10 skewers. Spicy. Okay. The stall owner quickly counted out 10 freshly roasted mutton skewers and skillfully sprinkled chili powder on it, 50 yuan. A mutton skewer costs 5 yuan. Lu Chen took the mutton but did not pay. The one who paid was Chen Fei. She took out money from her kawaii bag that was at most 50 yuan and handed it to the stall owner. Thank you for your patronage. When the stall owner took the money, he gave Lu Chen a disdainful look. Big and handsome boy actually let a girl pay for him when he came out to play and eat? He is either a softie or a woman. What a waste of his good looks. Lu Chen did not know whether to laugh or cry. On the way, Chen Fei stressed that he was responsible for buying and carrying things, and she was responsible for paying. As a result, he was despised. Chen Fei smiled and took a few mutton skewers from Lu Chen's hand, and eagerly stuffed them into her mouth. After chewing a few mouthfuls of meat and swallowing, she opened her mouth and breathed hard. So spicy, so spicy. Her face was bitter. Lu Chen hurriedly bought a freshly squeezed orange juice from the stall and handed it to Chen Fei. So cool. Chen Fei obviously could not eat spicy food, but after taking a sip of juice, she continued to eat the mutton skewers. This kind of valiant and fearless spirit made Lu Chen admire him very much. However, if her unscrupulous and unladylike image of her eating and drinking were to be seen by her fans, who knew how many people's hearts would be broken? Eating mutton skewers, the two continued to walk forward, stopping when they saw something they wanted to eat. Rice cakes, tofu pudding, shumai, soup dumplings. They walked and ate along the way, not thinking about anything else, just eating. In the end, halfway through the long snack street, Chen Fei's stomach was so full that she could not walk anymore. She was also very regretful. There is still a lot of delicious food later. Lu Chen smiled. Come back next time. Let's go to the pedestrian street and rest for a while. In front of them was the intersection of the snack street and pedestrian street. Turning right was the shopping mall. There were fewer people on the pedestrian street that led directly to the shopping mall, and there were open-air tea houses and coffee shops on both sides. There were also benches for tourists to rest on. Lu Chen and Chen Fei found an empty bench and sat down. They were not tired, but a little full. Chen Fei greedily ordered a lot of things, and after tasting a bit of everything, she gave the rest to Lu Chen. Lu Chen's stomach was also limited. Huh? Chen Fei's eyes suddenly lit up, and she elbowed Lu Chen. Listen. Lu Chen heard it. The brightest star in the night sky, can you hear clearly, the loneliness and sigh in the heart of the person who looks up? The song was, the brightest star in the night sky. He could not help but turn his head in the direction of the song. He saw a street singer was playing and singing in the middle of the pedestrian street about 10 meters away. He was singing Lu Chen's song. The brightest star in the night sky, can you remember, the figure that once walked with me and disappeared in the wind? Lu Chen could not help but smile. Chapter 177. In Beijing, there are many street singers. They come from all over the world, and most of them come to this super big city with the dream of becoming famous. They are eager to use their talent to embark on a bright path to stardom, stand on the stage of tens of thousands of people, and be admired by everyone. But among these people, 99% of them can't realize their dreams. Their dreams and passion will be worn down and extinguished by life in the big city, and in the end, they will struggle to survive. Many singers can't find a way out and can only wander on the streets, singing in squares, underground passages, and roadsides. On the one hand, it is to earn the cost of basic living, and on the other hand, they are eager to be discovered by Bo Lu. In the entertainment industry and pop music world, there are really many examples of street singers becoming famous. Among the street singers, some people really have the strength and talent. It's just that they are unlucky. The singer who sang, The Brightest Star in the Night Sky, on the pedestrian street is very young, at most 20 years old. He is thin and not very tall, and his ordinary face has a trace of childishness. A guitar, a microphone, an electric stereo, and an open guitar case placed on the ground. A standard set of singing. Unfortunately, the singer's guitar playing is not bad, and the notes are very accurate, but his singing and voice are average. Therefore, his performance can't attract the attention of pedestrians, make them stop to listen, or throw money into the box. There were too many street performers in the capital, so no one was surprised. Unless there is a highlight and special feature, ordinary people are not willing to pay. Although not welcomed and appreciated, the young street singer still sang seriously and stood there stubbornly. Looking at him, Lu Chen suddenly remembered himself when he first came to Beijing. His heart is full of emotions. If it weren't for that dream, I'm afraid that he would still be a waiter and part-time singer and forget grass bar, working hard to survive and pay off debts, and never seeing the hope of life. Lu Chen is looking at the singer, and Chen Fei is looking at Lu Chen with interest. The heavenly queen of Jade Maidens suddenly said, "He doesn't sing well. He ruined your song. Go and teach him." There was a sly look in her eyes, as if she couldn't wait to watch a good show. Lu Chen was stunned. "That's not good, is it?" Chen Fei laughed and said, "What's wrong with that? In fact, you're helping him. Otherwise, I don't think he'll be able to earn any money. Maybe he'll go hungry after paying the venue fee today." In Beijing, one could not simply perform as one wished. One needed to apply to the city's administrative agency. After obtaining a permit, one could perform at a specified location. Different places had to pay different venue fees. Some were free, and some were very expensive. The flow of people here was very dense. It was not easy to apply for a spot, nor was it cheap. If he couldn't earn back the rent, he might really starve. "Just take it as," Chen Fei tilted his head and said, "Sing this song for me." Lu Chen thought for a moment, then stood up and walked towards the other party. Since the singer chose his song, he must like it and could be considered a fan. Then I'll help him and encourage him. Walking to the front of the singer and waiting for him to finish a paragraph, Lu Chen asked with a smile, "Hello, I also want to sing this song. Can you accompany me?" The singer was stunned. He didn't notice Lu Chen at first. It wasn't until Lu Chen made the request that he realized that Lu Chen looked familiar. You. The street singer suddenly opened his eyes wide, revealing a look of surprise. You are. He obviously recognized Lu Chen. Before the other party said his name, Lu Chen asked seriously, okay? Okay. The young singer was so excited that his face turned red. He nodded repeatedly and said, no problem. Never in his wildest dreams did he expect that his cover of a very popular song would attract the attention of the original singer. Lu Chen. This probability. Was he winning the lottery? He stuttered and added, My name is Guahan Dong. Mr. Dong was Gua. Hello, my name is Lu Chen. Lu Chen smiled and raised his hand to hold the microphone. The dialogue between the two, amplified by the microphone and speakers, attracted the curious attention of many people around. Guahan took a few deep breaths, then clenched his teeth and played the prelude. Lu Chen nodded gently to the beat and opened his mouth to sing. The brightest star in the night sky, can you remember the figure that once walked with me and disappeared in the wind? His clear and clean voice instantly rang out in the bustling pedestrian street and drilled into people's ears. The brightest star in the night sky, can you remember the figure that once walked with me and disappeared in the wind? I pray to have a transparent heart and eyes that can cry, give me the courage to believe again, oh, to embrace you through lies. Whenever I can't find the meaning of existence, whenever I am lost in the night, oh, the brightest star in the night sky. Please guide me close to you. In Lu Chen's singing, the people sitting in chairs around him raised their heads one after another, and several girls showed a surprised look, as if they had discovered something incredible. Many passers-by stopped and focused their eyes on Lu Chen and Guahan. Puzzled, surprised, curious, there were also people who quickly ran over after hearing the song and gathered in front of the two of them. It sounds like the original singer. What do you mean by very similar? Don't you recognize it? This is the original singer, Lu Chen. He wrote the song. Really? It seems to be true. I've watched the Singing China competition. He's the champion, Lu Chen. So handsome, and he sings so well. Among the people who gathered around, there were many girls. They recognized Lu Chen and were all excited. However, the quality of the people in the capital is very high. Everyone keeps a distance, and even if they talk, they keep their voices down. Many girls took out their mobile phones to take pictures of Lu Chen, and the ones standing in the front even squatted down, so as not to affect the people behind them to shoot or watch. More and more people gathered around. Lu Chen didn't expect such a scene. Because his official debut time is very short, Lu Chen has not yet realized that he has become a star artist. He didn't wear sunglasses or a mask when he went shopping, and he didn't think he could attract attention. However, Lu Chen underestimated the influence of his work. Not to mention the high ratings of Singing China, the album, You Who Sat Next to Me, which has just been released, has brought him a lot of popularity. This song, which was included in the album, has been sung and famous both on the internet and on the radio. So, as the original singer, it attracted a lot of people's attention in an instant. Fortunately, the onlookers were in good order, and Lu Chen was able to continue singing calmly. He saw Chen Fei also appear in the crowd of onlookers, smiling like a fox who had just stolen a hen. Very proud kind. The brightest star in the night sky, can you hear the loneliness and sigh in the bottom of the heart of the person who looks up? After singing the last few words softly and gently, Lu Chen let go of his hands, took a step back and bowed to everyone. While warm applause immediately rang out. Lu Chen smiled and said, "Thank you for your support." Someone reacted and immediately took out money from his pocket and put it in the piano case on the ground. Others followed suit, and the box, which originally had only a few yuan of change, was quickly piled up with a high layer of banknotes. Guahan's face turned red, and he was so excited that he couldn't speak. A bold girl came up and asked, "Lu Chen, can I take a picture with you?" It was really new for Lu Chen to be asked by fans to take a picture with him. He smiled and nodded, of course. Ah! The girl screamed and immediately rushed up, hugged Lu Chen's arm tightly, and leaned her head on his shoulder. Her movements were very skilled. Her companion took several photos with her mobile phone. After satisfying one, there was another. In addition to taking a picture, there were also people asking for autographs. Interestingly, Lu Chen's fans were basically girls. In fact, there were a lot of boys watching, but they were very reserved and did not want to take a selfie with Lu Chen. After all, the current Lu Chen was only a singer with a little fame, not a famous superstar. In Beijing, where there were a lot of people, his appearance would not cause a sensation. If it was Chen Fei, the situation would definitely be completely different. After finally satisfying the requirements of the girls, Lu Chen was finally able to get away. He said to Guohan, "Come on, work hard." Guohan nodded and finally said, "Thank you." Lu Chen smiled and patted him on the shoulder, then stepped away and walked towards the shopping mall ahead. After a while, Chen Fei, caught up from behind and walked side by side with him. The Queen of Sweet Song asked with a smile, "How do you feel?" Lu Chen thought about it seriously and said, "Not bad." The feeling of being liked and admired was very good, very good. Chen Fei sighed, "But when you get used to it and encounter it often, you will feel bored and even painful. But at that time, if you want to take the initiative to give up these things, I'm afraid you won't be able to do it." Lu Chen asked, "Then what do you think I should do?" Chen Fei said with a smile, "It's very simple. Drink today and get drunk today. Enjoy the present, young man." Lu Chen was speechless. Chen Fei, suddenly said, "I want to drink beer, a big cup." Lu Chen was surprised, "Sister Fei, can you still drink? Besides, you ate spicy food and drank at night, it's bad for your throat." Chen Fei's voice was recognized as a golden voice in the circle. Chen Fei stared at him and interrupted, "Just say whether you want to accompany me or not." Lu Chen thought about it seriously again and said, "I don't want to." Chapter 178. Golden Crown KTV, Private Room 158. The music had just been turned off, and Lu Chen was speechless as he looked at Chen Fei, who was leaning on his shoulder. The Queen of Sweet Song tilted her head, her black hair fell on the sofa, her pretty face was flushed, and her red eyes were half closed. Lu Chen could smell the faint smell of alcohol on her breath. Chen Fei was drunk. At her insistence, Lu Chen came to the chain KTV on the top floor of the mall to sing. The two ordered half a box of small Budweiser and a lot of snacks. Chatting, drinking, singing, and guessing the dice. Chen Fei had a good time. The same was true for Lu Chen. He hadn't been so relaxed for a long time. He didn't have to think about anything and just followed his mood. And the one who accompanied him to play was a real heavenly queen of the music industry. Of the 12 330 milliliters bottles of beer, Chen Fei drank 5 of them. If it wasn't for Lu Chen stopping her, it was estimated that she would have drunk more. As a result, now that she was drunk, she leaned against Lu Chen and fell asleep. What made Lu Chen speechless was that the Queen of Sweet Song believed too much in his character, right? If he wanted to do something bad, Lu Chen's eyes fell on Chen Fei's pretty face, and suddenly had an evil thought. "Sister Fei, Sister Fei?" He called out softly twice, but as expected, there was no response. Lu Chen's mouth evoked a wicked smile, and he quietly extended his sinful hand to the drunk Chen Fei. He pinched her cheek very, very lightly. "Little girl, today you finally fell into the hands of this uncle. It's useless even if you shout until your throat breaks. Give this uncle a smile first." Lu Chen laughed wickedly, but quickly retracted his hand. His heart was very satisfied. He really wanted to take a picture, and then post it on his blog with the title, "A Rich Young Man Got Chen Fei Drunk in KTV, and the Poor Heavenly Queen's Chastity Can't Be Protected." Thinking about that scene, it was simply too beautiful. After fantasizing for a moment, Lu Chen, who had ended his dark transformation, took out his phone and called Chen Fei's assistant. Since Chen Fei was so drunk, she had to ask her assistant to send her back. After telling the other party the address, Lu Chen ended the call. However, as soon as he put down his phone, he was stunned. Chen Fei turned his head and rested his chin on his shoulder, revealing a smile that could make all living things go crazy. Her eyes were misty, and her red lips parted as she asked in a soft voice, "Sir, do I smile like this?" Lu Chen wished he could find a hole to hide in. So Chen Fei wasn't really drunk. He was caught red-handed on the spot. He could only admit his mistake with a bitter face. "Sister Fei, I was wrong." Chen Fei giggled and said, "If you know you're wrong, you're still a good boy. But if you do something wrong, you have to be punished. As punishment, write 2 songs for me. It must be the kind that sounds good, otherwise." She clenched her fist and shook it at Lu Chen. "I've learned Taekwondo." Lu Chen felt as if he had been pardoned. 2 songs are no problem. Chen Fei proudly picked up her bag, got up and said, "Let's go and wait for Sister Zhang downstairs." Sister Zhang was Chen Fei's assistant. After paying the bill, the two of them took the elevator downstairs and saw Sister Zhang at the door. She and the other entourage must have been waiting nearby, so they came when summoned. Chen Fei turned to Lu Chen and said, "I won't see you off. Don't drive by yourself. Be careful." Lu Chen nodded. "Goodbye, Sister Fei." Chen Fei blinked her eyes and suddenly stood on tiptoe to kiss Lu Chen's face. Lu Chen was suddenly petrified. Sister Zhang, who was standing at the door, was also stunned when she saw this scene. Since Chen Fei's debut, she had been with Chen Fei. She was closer than Chen Fei's family. But Sister Zhang had never seen Chen Fei so close to another man. Chen Fei smiled and said, "Thank you for accompanying me so happily. This is a thank you gift. Don't think too much." She waved and turned to leave, sprinkling a string of silver bell-like laughter. Lu Chen watched Chen Fei's figure disappear into the night. After a while, he touched the wet marks on his face. He smiled bitterly. If this scene was secretly photographed by the entertainment paparazzi in the capital, it was estimated that he would definitely make the headlines. She was really not afraid. In fact, the next day, on September 18th, the man who really made the headlines was Wang Bin. Wang Bin was arrested. Another superstar in the prison storm. How did the good man Wang Bin fall? The people of Chaoyang district have made a new contribution again. Count the entertainment industry stars who were arrested this year. Falling into the abyss at the age of 40, Wang Bin was destroyed. In the entertainment section of major mainstream magazines, portals, and even the home page of the main page, all published the shocking disappearance of Wang Bin after he was arrested for drug abuse. The media fell into a collective carnival and began to dig the dark curtain of the entertainment industry. Although Wang Bin was not the top superstar, he debuted very early and belonged to the old generation in the circle. Moreover, he was also a film, television, and singer-artist. He had always had a good image and was known as a good man of the new era. However, the image of this good man in the eyes of the public was destroyed in an instant, causing an earthquake in the circle. Some media revealed that Wang Bin did not only take drugs by himself, but also gathered people. At the same time, many of his friends in the circle were arrested. It was not even the first time, and many artists were involved. This media did not directly name names, but used L and C as a proxy. As a result, it caused countless speculation on the blog, causing many innocent star artists to be implicated, and they could only issue a public statement to refute the rumors. For a time, many ghosts and snakes emerged, and the number of visitors to the Waves blog soared several times. But these ups and downs had little to do with Lu Chen. What was related to Lu Chen was that his debut solo album, You Who Sat Next to Me, was on QQ Music Online for 10 days, with sales reaching 347,202 copies, close to 350,000. In the future, there was basically no suspense for it to break through 500,000 and achieve platinum. For a new singer who has just made his debut, such a result was simply against the natural order, and it was completely worth holding a grand celebration. Most importantly, the success of You Who Sat Next to Me has greatly encouraged the local original power of the domestic pop music industry. It has made many songwriters and singers discover that nostalgic folk songs still have great market potential to be tapped. Campus folk songs, a folk song category created by Lu Chen, has begun to take root in people's hearts and become popular quietly. Many entertainment companies and artists and singers are planning to withdraw from the same genre of works in an attempt to get a share of this market. And more people are directly staring at Lu Chen, and there are more and more phone calls to Lu Chen's studio and Lu Shi. At present, there are 7 entertainment record companies inviting you to sing songs. I've given all of them, but I haven't replied yet. In the general manager's office, Lu Shi held a stack of printed paper and reported to Lu Chen on the recent business situation. 2 of them are very sincere and should be able to negotiate, mainly about price and copyright. You who sat next to me was a big seller. Lu Chen asked Lu Shi to raise the price of his work to 350,000, and also retain part of the copyright, such as the very important cover rights and foreign copyright. This price tag has reached the level of first-class or even top writers in the industry. In the eyes of outsiders, it is simply an exorbitant price, and it will certainly scare away many units who are interested in cooperation. However, now Lu Chen will never easily write songs for others. As the saying goes, the rarer something is, the more precious it is. Although there are countless classics and fine works in his memory, he still has to sell them at a low price. On the one hand, Lu Chen doesn't want to wholesale these works from the dream world like cabbages. On the other hand, he also wants to set up his own style in the circle and industry. It's so expensive, buy it or not, it's up to you. Today's Lu Chen has such confidence and confidence. A quarter of his family's big debt has been paid off by him, and the pressure has been greatly reduced. Moreover, if the online crowdfunding plan is implemented smoothly, it will not be a problem to pay off all the debts in one fell swoop. Under such circumstances, Lu Chen is naturally able to hold his bottom line. And it can be predicted that in the future, his position on the works he owns will only get higher and higher. 350,000? It's just the beginning. Lu Chen said without hesitation, the price is not negotiable. If there are requirements for copyright, then increase the price. Lu Shi nodded without surprise. In this regard, Lu Chen's insistence was correct. She turned a page in her hand and continued, in terms of advertising endorsements, there are currently 3 companies in negotiations. One of them, Silver Horse Advertising Company, has proposed an endorsement contract for Senki Sportswear. I feel very good and am ready to agree for you. Senki Sportswear? Lu Chen's eyes lit up. What's their offer? Senki is a new clothing brand in the market, focusing on the sports consumer market of young people, so it has a lot of advertising investment in major media. It is not surprising to find Lu Chen. For most star artists, advertising endorsements have always been the focus of making money. Top superstars can earn tens of millions or even hundreds of millions of yuan a year in this regard. Especially in recent years, the international and domestic economic recovery has led to the growth of the consumer market, and the endorsement fees of stars have naturally risen. Lu Shi said, the endorsement contract provided by Silver Horse Advertising Company is 800,000 yuan a year, mainly for shooting promotional posters and a TV advertisement. If you are needed to be present for publicity, then the appearance fee will be calculated separately, 800,000 yuan. Compared with the endorsement fee of A-list stars, this price is only a fraction, but for newcomers, it is already very good, because shooting such posters and TV advertisements is also a promotion for yourself. Lu Chen nodded, yes, you can do this for me. There have been advertisers who came to him in the past, but the endorsement contracts provided were very unreliable, and Lu Shi rejected them all. Senki's brand positioning is mid-range, and it focuses on sports and health, which is very suitable for his image. Lu Shi smiled and said, I hope to add 1 million yuan. If you are more famous, there will be no problem. Lu Chen laughed. But whether it was Lu Chen or Lu Shi, they didn't expect that just a few days later, his reputation really went up another level. You're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.